Hello and welcome back to Dash 28 Live. I am your host, Mike Adkins, and today we are bringing you a special event. These are the first round matchups from next weekend's Atlantic City Open GT, held in, of course, fabulous Atlantic City, New Jersey. I am not the TO for this event. That's a different Mike. Mike Gill is actually running the event, and he was kind enough to send me the list of the pairings and the first round info so we could present them to you this evening. Joining me, we have Mark Howard. Hey, Mark.
Going on.
Alan Boehner.
Hello.
And Alex Chavez.
Thanks for having me.
And so for those of you who have watched these before, you kind of know what the deal is. For those of you who haven't, just to give you a basic idea, we're going to tell you, we're going to give you guys like some high level info about the lists and the armies that are going to be at the event. We're going to talk about what the terrain map and scenario is for the first round. And then we're going to go through each table, reveal who's playing who and what their lists are. And then our expert panel here, yes, are going to critique the lists and then make a prediction on who they think is going to win the match. Now, this is all done for entertainment purposes. This is meant to be taken with a grain of salt, or this is all kind of tongue in cheek. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. We might say some things that might come off a little mean, but we mean it all in good fun and in good spirits. We're just having a good time with this, and it's just some good-natured ribbing. So nobody take any of this personally or seriously, because after having done a shitload of these kinds of broadcasts, I can tell you that we're rarely right more often than a fucking coin flip anyway. So just keep that in mind. Like, we might say we might talk a lot of shit when it comes down to it. Like, we don't really know who's going to win most of the time anyway. So
except you, Joe Ferry. Fuck you.
Your list sucks.
His list doesn't suck. I made this list, but
then it definitely sucks.
Fuck you, Alan. Let's start it out.
let's get going. Let's talk about what we got here. So we got 30 players coming, and we have 17 different armies represented, which is a pretty good spread of armies. At the top, the most represented armies are Forces of Nature and Goblins.
Yeah, that's
they're coming back, baby.
Which is different, and maybe a little reaction to the standard meta we've had going of like shooting and air elementals or something. Dwarves and Ogres are coming in after that, and then Salamanders, Sylvankin, and Undead coming in with 2 each. And then we got 1 Abyssal Dwarf, 1 Basilean, 1 Elf, 1 Empire Dust, 1 Forces of the Abyss, 1 Kings of Men, 1 Orc, 1 Night Stalker, 1 Trident, 1 Ratkin. In terms of like what the list composition looks like, average drops is coming in at 15, which I think is maybe 1 higher than last year because we have some high drop lists. Minimum drop list is only 11. The highest drop list is 24, which is a little on the high side. And in terms of average unit strength, I think 24 is the same as it was last year. But like the minimum and maximum maybe went a little further apart there. The max unit strength is 40.
That's solid.
So and the minimum is 19, which is a bit sparse, but 40. Yeah, no shit. We have a 40 unit strength list out there. So
that's amazing. I'm assuming that's Goblins.
Kingdoms.
Somebody playing this now.
Yes,
John Helbig.
John
fucking Helbig.
I like it.
So
that's my
somebody's going to be playing
keeping Bretonians alive for 20 years.
There you go.
Is it a peasant army?
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite. That guy wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. I could leave this podcast right now.
Yep.
So just drop the mic, walk out. Kings of Men, calling it.
Fucking winner.
Fucking winner. So round 1 is going to be Fool's Gold.
Oh,
so for those of you who we're starting with the hard one. Here we go. So for those of you that aren't familiar, this is one of the bluff token scenarios. So everybody, puts down a set of bluff tokens upside down, and then on round 3, you flip all of them back over. Both players get 2 that are worth 0, 2 that are worth 1, and 1 that's worth 2. You put them all on your opponent's side of the table face down. and then you play till round 3, and then you find out what all of them are. And that is going to be our terrain map for the first round. So kind of dense in the middle, with a hill and a couple of forests. Not much terrain in the deployment zones. You pretty much got it all in the middle of the table.
I like that.
Yep. So plenty of cover, plenty of ways to get across the table without creating too many shooting opportunities. But still a couple of decent lanes through there that somebody could camp in.
Yes, they can.
Yes,
I like
we have
it.
some.
Yeah, I like the two. I like the forest on each side too.
Forest looks like they're
Personally.
just barely in the deployment zone, right? Like they're kind of
just a little bit,
just the tip.
Yeah.
Just the tip.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your leader point
My
in.
favorite, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I like
That's
when maps are like this, especially if people don't like shooting. So it always helps.
Yep. Nice.
You can
and
still shoot
fairly-
a lot. You just got to work for it.
You can.
Just gotta
Especially
work.
Yep. Takes a lot away though when like especially buildings are not. A lot of times you'll see like a pond in a deployment zone or like a random wall back in a corner, and it's like that just takes the whole thing out of the game. So
Yep.
when something's like this, it's every single piece that matters.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's also I get particularly depressed when you see a building that's like half and half on the deployment line, but right
Yeah.
against the edge of the board. You're like,
Right. It's
somebody
out of the
just
game.
has less deployment, and they're
Right.
going to move past that turn 2, and it's over.
Yep, and it's over. So
Yeah,
like when you
it's
see
like
stuff
shit.
like this, it's pretty
nice.
solid. So I do like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sure.
that'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Especially
And
since
I
I'm
like
not
the
playing
hills
shooting.
are in the middle, so it's kind of like, fight for those
Yeah.
a little bit instead of just having them right after the deployment zone, so somebody can just move up and shoot, or you just get that one flying unit, or not
Yep.
flying, but like cav. You're like, they're gonna get Thunderous 1, get fucked.
Yep.
So good spread.
It's good. I like it.
Fool's gold is
Agreed.
fool's gold. I know most people seem to just place their tokens down, then forget where they are.
That's the best part of
Yeah.
Fool's Gold.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool,
It's
cool.
You get
A
to
lot
see
of
them all
thinking.
at the end of round
When you're
3,
surprised,
and
yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you
Yeah.
surprise
Usually, like-
yourself.
stick to whatever your starting plan is until round 3, until you see whether it worked or not anyway. So like,
As a power
fine.
move, I like to give my opponent my token to go ahead and place them.
That's what he's
I
ready
assert dominance.
Good God,
Just lines him up at the back.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
that's rough.
All right,
Not bad,
let's get
It's
on
pillage,
into...
right? At the end of the day, it's like
Yeah, it basically ends up
with
being
more
pillage.
steps, right? It's like it's not that
Yeah.
complicated.
But it's fun. It's a surprise.
So we are doing Bar Shroud, and I guess Mike wanted me to show an example of what the scoring sheet is going to look like. That we're going to have to fill out. And here it is. So with Bar Shroud, we're going to jot down the game result, which is going to be I think it's 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 for a loss.
Yeah.
Then you put down how many scenario points you scored. And then he'll have a chart for us to do attrition mod, and that'll give you your total score.
I think the attrition though is just straight kill. Like there's no difference, right?
That's right.
From
I think it's just 20%.
because that was one of the points that I liked. You just add up what you killed and that's it. Go ahead, put it out.
Yeah, I mean, worst comes to worst, you can always just put in the victory points that you got for the scenario, your win-loss, and then just put in the army points and just turn it into him and just give him the finger. He'll calculate it for you.
Yeah,
I find that's a lot easier.
Yeah, and he's got a spot on the form here to put in the total number of points you killed anyway, and not just the mod. So
there you go.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Not too terribly difficult. All right, without further ado, let's get into table 1. Mark Howard versus Kyle Motley. So this is a dojo versus
Nerdhammer.
Wow,
Nerdhammer
dropping my penis on the
match.
table right at the start.
Right there, table 1, top table, baby. Nowhere to
Mhm.
go from here but down.
That's fair.
Sylvankin versus Forces of Nature. 11 drops versus 12 drops, and 24 unit strength versus 20. So Mark is bringing 5 regiments of Glade Stalkers, and that's really all you need to know.
Yep.
But he's also got double trees.
There's cavalry in there.
This
There's
list
some
looks so
cavalry in
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
this is literally Matt Griff's list, and then
It's
they nerfed Glade Stalkers, and I just had to take a character out and add like Pathfinder to 2 units. It was awesome.
Yep. This is the meta standard Sylvankin list, basically.
Yeah. I was like, Matt, we're gonna do this together, and then he stopped playing him immediately. I was like, cool.
You never know.
I figure if I play them long enough, eventually the meta will shift where everybody isn't running dwarves, and it'll work out.
We'll come back
I
around.
don't know, buddy.
Yep.
I looked into the future. It's not looking good for you.
Whatever. So let's see here. We got Kyle.
Well, speaking of meta standard lists, this is also basically the meta standard Force of Nature list. Once again, just the Wild Father, but triple greater air elementals and the Nature's Wrath formation, the Blade Walker, and the lesser druid there with him, and some forest shamblers and earth elementals to provide just some unit strength and some token holding units. So there you go. I'm not going to start with Mark because he's playing. I'm going to start at the bottom with Alan. What do you think?
All right. I like both lists. Obviously, they're both great lists.
Oh, did you write both of these lists?
Yeah, probably.
At one point, I was on both of these sides, and now I moved away from them for this tournament, at least. I built almost Kyle's list to answer Griff's list. The one thing that Kyle's missing were the water elementals, because I love just having regen against no non-piercing shooting.
Correct.
It made me last a very long time. Oh, and he's missing. I always had the hell's her name?
Green Lady.
The character that the character that heals, the Green Lady. Green Lady.
Is that the one I just said that you just said?
Yeah,
no?
definitely the one
you said. Green Knight. There's no Green Knight.
I said Green Knight.
Yeah, pretty sure. We'll roll the tape back later.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's so I like to have that heal element playing against all that shooting. But in this matchup, I do like I like Forces of Nature in it.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, both the druids have heal, and there's also the formation, which kind of makes them air that's water. So. I mean,
I ran both of them. I ran the formation and the water element. So my whole army healed.
Everything regens.
Everything regen, everything healed, and not having the fire item that gets the crushing against regen. I think Griff might have played that, but
right. Yeah, I mean the earth elemental regiments are good still. I mean it's like even though they don't regen, it's like it's not
they're solid.
Stalkers want to shoot, right? It's like nothing really wants to fight that.
Dash 15.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was going to say I played Mark Howard at Vanguard on table 1. So, Mark, it sounds like you're back in the same situation that
played
you were.
Me at Pilgrimage, table 1. Also,
it was also table 1. Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget about that.
You're always on table 1, and exactly.
Mark, the whole goal is to be on table 1, game 5, not table 1, game 1.
Game 1.
Listen,
you're playing backwards.
But having said that, I also say the Force of Nature list has a lot of just tough elements for this Sylvankin list to answer. But I think it's going to take a lot of careful maneuvering. I mean, the problem is that the 3 greater air elementals, like the druids with heal, I don't know. It's going to take a lot of really hot shooting to pick up a unit in one turn, which is possible. But without that, I think it's an uphill battle for the Sylvankin.
I know what I would be shooting at first. But I'm not going to say it.
That's all right. I'll message you later.
I know exactly how I attack this, but obviously I don't want to say it. So,
Alan's PayPal email address is
so
Alex, is that you going for Forces of Nature as well?
I believe so. Sorry, Mark.
No, I don't. No offense, buddy. It's all good. So,
Mark, what do you think? What do you think of your chances here?
Yeah, so I've played something like this before. I am excited at least that Kyle's not running Kapoka, so there's not phalanx all over the place. So at least my Cav, if they can hit something first, will get Thunder too.
bringing her back.
Whatever. If the Earth Elemental regiments, if he plays them smart, it's going to provide cover for a lot of things. It's going to be really hard for Glade Stalkers to take anything down. Depending on where he puts certain stuff, though, getting shot 60 times by Glade Stalkers, I can kill something in one turn where I don't have to worry about regen. It just depends on how he deploys, I suppose. And I do have 2 Tree Herders to his 1, and they are excellent. I'd say Tree Herders are probably what I think is probably the most consistent thing in the game that I've noticed.
I love the nimble on it. I always like that little upgrade.
Yeah,
I can never find the points myself, but
it's expensive.
It's expensive. I like
I
it.
deleted the list initially, and I started with that, so I built the whole list.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great piece, and especially like you could always catch somebody out with that almost.
Yeah,
right.
So we mix that with the fact that I've played Kyle once, and he is very good, and he is also the first person at a tournament to table me.
Yeah. He plays Dale like every day.
Yeah, and that's depressing. Like,
just play all the time on UB. It is UB.
The people I play every week are not that, but so I'd say that I have an uphill struggle ahead of me. So I'm actually probably going to go with Kyle on this as well. But
I mean, it is fool's gold, so
yeah. But Kyle has a lot of things also going against him. At some point, I'm probably going to be shirtless in this match. We're going to see what his alcohol tolerance is. Like, there's a lot of outside factors that I like to employ past just the matchup itself. But yeah, a lot of defense 5 and 6, and the things that aren't can charge me from 20 inches away, and the healing, not to boot. I mean, the druids heal too. Whatever.
Yeah, Druid, Gladewalker Druid gets to heal twice if it wants.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Alan. It's only against elementals.
All right, Bard, we're picking up the pace. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, so that's going to be.
Are you listening to every damn word I have to say?
That's going to be a clean sweep for Kyle. Let's move on now to table 2.
Woo!
Wait, I'm not
Griffin.
done.
Wait a minute. Let's go back to that. Yeah, back it up a minute. Do not play me off. So this is going to be a Dwarf versus Salamanders match. Dwarves coming in 13 drops and 27 unit strength for a big old unit strength drop there. And Salamanders 13 and 24, still nice and respectable, right there in average range. Over on the Dwarf side, you got Iron Guard regiments throwing dogs as you do, God's Fury and a Steel Behemoth, Faber Ironheart, all very popular choices. Also Dwarf on Large Beast, and the Hammers of the King formation, which you're going to see a lot of in this tournament. Over on the Salamander side, just one horde of Scorch Wings. Interesting choice. Triple Rhinosaur Cavalry Horde, though, will stomp a hole in something. And pretty good amount of shooting with 3 Commandants. He's got the three of the Sky Lords, which are really, really good. And then Rikawas the Pale Rider for a really solid monster there. So let's start with Alex this time. Alex, what do you think?
Sure. So I love dwarves, and this is a very solid dwarf list.
know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, spoiler for later too, right? I think my big issue is that this dwarf list is missing a little bit of the shooting elements you see in traditional dwarves. Like usually you're used to seeing like at least 2 to 3 units of sharpshooters. So if you had that, I'd say that the dwarves would have this huge upper hand in this matchup. Without them, I think it's still going to be tough for the Salamanders to crack a lot of these units. See things like the Bulwark are just not going to die to anything in this army. Like it's just really going to be a tough unit to crack. So I have to lean to the dwarves. Now, granted, Matt is a very good player. The Salamanders is a new list for him. I know he's kind of played them in the past, but I think I'm going to go to Gabe just based on the army and dwarves. I think he's going to get the edge on this one.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, so I like the Iron Guard regiments and their defense 6. I love the 4 throwing mastiffs, and then the extra 2 for the bulwarkers. Throwing mastiffs are terrifying, just ignoring all modifiers and having that pierce 1. I like that he took the formation. So I mean, he took 3 hordes of Rhinosaur Cav, and if he ends up having to run into one of those, he'll do like 5 wounds. I also don't really like Rikawas as a creature. I hate him, actually. But yeah, Gabe is still a fairly new player. But
it's not a new player list, man. That's solid.
Yeah,
well, I mean, yeah, he asked like,
I mean,
what do people run from
doing,
dwarves,
really
and I was
like
like, let me show you what people have been doing with dwarves, and I just took Dale's list and gave it to him.
It's
and then he took it from there. So he's getting the hang of it. He'll die on the hill of the Berserkers troop.
I love
Berserker troops are awesome.
Dude, they're amazing.
And you know what?
Yeah.
We always we always laugh about it, and they always do something like every game. It's rough.
Stupid amazing. Dash
Yeah,
15,
they're
Slayer
so
D6.
tough. Yeah,
Right. So
the
as
amount
far
of things
as
they live, like for 105 points,
105
you
points.
can't find
Yeah.
a tougher unit. Yeah.
So the Salamanders list, the Comodons, I'm still not that sold on, as opposed to like Kilodons, because they don't have if I'm not mistaken, they hit on 5s to begin with. They don't have steady aim, and I think they're only like range 18.
No, they're the 36-inch ones. The Comodons.
Oh, they're 36. So you
Yeah,
just
they're
kind of like
36.
park them, I guess.
Yeah,
No, but they're also monsters.
Yeah.
So they score.
The score, yeah,
I
they're
don't
good.
They're
So
pretty
do the
solid.
Kilodons, and they can move
I
around.
can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember what.
And pick up tokens
Kilodons.
and stuff like that.
I mean, they can too, but
yeah, with the
I
lack
don't know
of
I can't remember what separates them.
yeah, with the lack of shooting though, I think that Ancient Phoenix is probably going to live forever unless it walks up and gets mastiffed in the face.
Yeah.
And that'll be pretty good. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. It's great to do. I believe it has Cloak of Death, so it'll be able to do wounds to all the defense 6, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But dwarves are so tough to crack. So I think, yeah, and that's the other thing. Didn't Matt just have a second kid?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. Fuck
That's
that.
why
Yeah,
Dale-
dwarves
that
are
is
going to
weak.
take this.
Yeah,
Yeah, dwarves are going to take this. He's playing an army that he's like new to, and he probably hasn't slept more than 3 hours in the past few months. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gabe.
All right, Boehner, what do you think?
Now you think that Griff is new to this list, but he's not. Griff's been playing this list actually before he played the elves. He's had this salamander or lizardman list forever, and he knows what he's doing with it. But if I was just looking at lists, I would definitely go with the dwarfs. That dwarf list is nasty. That looks a lot like Dale's lists, and Dale is nasty with it. And let's see, besides Scorchwings and the Skylords, those Mastiffs should be getting to throw their Mastiffs. And if they go off on a good target, they might be able to pop something. You got the Bulwarkers taking 3 Rhino Cav Hordes. They're a great choice. The Ironclad with the Hammer of Measured Force is always so clutch. So if I was basing this just straight versus list, I'd be going for dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
So Griff is a great player, though. He might be able to pull this out, but he definitely has to fight for it.
All right, so that is another clean sweep. It's time for the dwarves. Let's go on to table 3. Brad Park versus Eric Schaefer. This is an undead versus this is a wet undead versus dry undead list matchup. So 13 drops on Brad's side with 23 units strength, and 14 drops and 24 units strength on Eric's side. Looking down the undead list, he's got your zombie regiments for your cheap unlocks, big old revenant infantry horde, double wraith troop. Wait a minute, this is looking very familiar. Double Soul Reaver infantry, a white horde, some Soul Reaver cav, a gore blight. This is looking really, really familiar. A Vamp Lord, with wings instead of on a horse. Okay, that's where it's not on my list anymore. Cool, got it. And Lady
Alana, that ain't in your list.
That ain't
also
in the list.
not in my list anymore.
It should be.
And looking
She's
over
sweet.
at the, she's
so
really good. Looking over at the EOD list, he's got all the guys that you'd expect to see: the Soul Snare, the Monolith, Civic Ray, the Atlas Shobek. He's got some Revenants, a couple of Enslaved Guardian hordes, some Scavengers for holding objectives, some Mummy regiments that are hard to move. Let's wrap around and start with Boehner this time.
All right. So Eric's back on the Empire Dust. I guess he was. I don't know if he's going to play Elves for Masters. I'm thinking he will, but I think when he went down to Vanguard and people are like, I don't want to play that list, I think he took that to heart. So
come on now. His
he's
list is adorable.
So he wanted to go back to Empire Dust, I think, for this tournament. Which, I mean, it's not a soft list either, so I think it doesn't really matter. It's a great list. I played this type of list, Undead list. Another great list. I don't think I've beat this list yet. So let's see, Eric. He loves that Levitation AC Mage. This is a good matchup. This is a good matchup. Yeah. This is a tough call. Let's see. Revenant Hordes, Skeleton Spearmen.
Yep.
Is there anything? I mean, Life Leech is in the Undead list.
Life Leech is on all Undead.
It's all Undead, right?
For everything.
Eric has the Soul Snare for some of this. Undead Worm is fun.
You
know what? I'm just going to make it easy on myself. I'm going with my clubmate. I'm going to go with Eric on this one. Yeah, Eric on this one.
Alex.
All right. Just like my barbecue choice, I'm gonna go dry on this one instead of wet. I think.
Dear God.
I like that one. That's ESPN worthy. We're gonna see the highlight reel. Greatest KOW calls. That's making it. That's making it.
I've been
That's
thinking about barbecue since you said that.
Oh God, that's great. I love it.
I mean, it actually in game, in game speak, I'll say that I think I just like the resiliency of Eric's list. I think just like the healing, the fact that it's got the Iron Resolve from Showbig, the Drain Life and the Soul Snare. It's just got a lot of regen for the mummies. Like it's got a lot of resiliency that if Eric picks his battles, which I think he can, given he's got like the chaff and the scavengers and things like that thrown his way. I think if he gets the right matchups, he's going to be stuck healing and getting surged. The worm's going to be surging. It's going to be kind of a nightmare for the undead, I think, where they just can't quite get the breakthrough. So that's kind of my thought on it. I don't know. It really is a close match. I will say, like it is going to come down, I think, just purely to who's going to outplay this one. So I know Eric's a very veteran player. Obviously, he won the Pilgrimage GT, so he's coming off a big win there, and he's changing it up, which I respect. I think it's a really cool thing to do, to like win the tournament. Be like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna switch armies now because I already won it. Fuck it, right? Why bother, right? So I think it's a power move in its own way, right? So he's got the confidence going for him. I definitely think Eric is gonna take this one.
All right, Mark, what do you think?
I'm just thinking about Gil being dry.
Yeah,
doesn't even sound real.
Nice and dry on the beach of AC.
Yeah, so this matchup was one of the ones I was looking at that was so disgusting because it's so equal on each side in terms of like the list for me, because they both have a lot of the same tools. There are some differences, like Empire Dust definitely obviously has the better healing and stuff like that, but Lady Alana running around outside of maybe Enslaved Guardians, just running her down, she can run into almost anything and slowly but surely beat it to death. She probably beats the Idol of Shobik in a fight, if you think about it, because he has -1 to hit her because he's a hero. And she has Life Leech 2 and Crush 3, so it's just rough. Yeah. So, the Vampire Lord with wings, as long as he doesn't get caught by like a surging undead worm, if he flies that the right way, it's going to threaten all the characters, which is really rough for that army.
Yeah, it'll go punch the Soul Snare, and
it'll punch anything. I mean, it's vampire, so it's got tons of attacks. It has the duelist built in, so if
defense 4 on the vampire now, right?
Yeah, and the wings, cursed High Priest not being on an elven steed, being on a normal steed, is reconciled to speed 16 to run around and cast. So a range 20 vampire lord. Like,
how fast are their steeds? Are their steeds 816 in vampires?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they're a little bit faster or not.
And an Empire Dust also the same thing. It's just
I know they're just
so. Yeah, it's the same thing. So then that Vampire Lord is, if it deploys around the same place that the Cursed High Priest is, that could be really, really bad because the Cursed High Priest is a lot of points for that loadout.
Is Lady Alona defense 6?
She is defense 6 with 14-16.
Yeah, it's solid.
She's very, very solid.
I mean, I think all things you're saying is right. My issue is like there's a lot of points in like things that don't score, right? And in the day, you got to score the objectives, right? So
it is, but the amount of things that she can hold up / she can kill whole units by herself.
Yeah,
I tested this. That's why I was like, is she worth it? And then by the time I got done Nerdhammer GT last year, I was like, I'm never gonna not run her in a vampire list ever again.
They're just so fun.
She's just incredible. Like even when she's running around, don't forget she has heal 3. So she can heal herself as she's moving around if she's not running. So it's pretty gnarly.
How many points is she? Do you know off the top of your head?
Flat.
250. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's less than
she's
she
actually
was
more than Mikhail.
Yeah. So
she's the most expensive individual. One of the most expensive individuals.
Yeah, I think that might be the most expensive individual because I think he was in the 230-ish bracket when he was still in existence.
Yeah, so I think the biggest problem for Empire Dust is going to be
pouring out for my homie.
Yep, they have all the healing and everything, but a lot of this undead list just wants to run into you with probably 2 units and just crush you off the board right in one turn. It's not going to try and do multiple turn fights. It's just going to run in with like a Soul Reaver infantry horde and whites and just try and do like 15 wounds and just wipe you out. So, and it's a little bit more mobile than the Empire Dust. Not to mention, I also know that Brad is a newer player, but he plays probably like 5 or 6 games a week. since he
Getting
started.
those reps
So,
in.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm actually going to go with
More
my
than
teammate
us.
and go with Brad Park.
This is more than
All
us.
right.
Yep.
All right. Our first not clean sweep.
Yes, Gil. Also, I'm going to bring that up right now because Empire Dust. Not enough people are doing this bullshit. So
Pharaoh
Oh,
Wings.
Pharaoh with wings.
you take the Pharaoh with wings. It's a level 2 spellcaster in Empire of Dust, where it's a level 1 in Vampires, and it's also straight 16 versus 14-16 in Undead. You're like, God damn it. So you give that thing like Host Shadow Beast,
Yeah.
and you give it knowledgeable, and you just hurtle this thing with Wings of Honey Maze into somebody, and you've got 5 attacks at Crush 2 and 5 attacks at Crush
That used to be
3.
a thing.
It's,
Yeah, flying pharaohs were a thing in
Yeah,
every edition except this one
Yep,
for some reason.
for this one, for some
Dude,
reason, yeah. They
That's
were
what
a
I've been
thing.
running in my Empire of Dust, and I run it. I put it behind a swarm with the Soul Snare next to it.
Yeah. Is she still defense 6, or did they drop that?
Still defense 6, so it goes
It is
defense
defense
5 with
6,
flying, but
okay.
still
It goes with
regen
5.
5 up.
Yeah, the wings used to not reduce your defense, and that's
Yeah.
why in second ed everybody took one because you'd have
Yeah, that's fucked up.
flying
Yeah,
Yeah,
pharaoh.
just
Yeah.
flying 6 individual.
But a flying individual that's defense 5 with a straight 16 nerve and regen 5 up.
Not bad.
Yeah, super
Same.
annoying. for
Keep
sure.
it in mind, Eric. If you're
Well,
watching this,
we'll see something kind of
it.
like that coming up in this
Do
in this cast, actually.
We'll
Yeah.
see when we get there. All right, let's move on to table number 4. Joe Ferry versus Justin Lingle.
Justin
It's gonna be a
Lingle.
Justin
Lingo.
No, it's
Justin
what's that
Lingle. Next.
Table 5 is going to be Trident Rail versus Forces of Nature. 15 drops on the Trident Rail side, 21 unit strength, and 12 drops. Very elite on the Forces of Nature side, 19 unit strength. Joe is still running the Hidden Ones and all the Thule with some Gigas and some Worm Riders and Ector and some Depth Horror Eternals, which are good scoring pieces. And then over on the Forces of Nature side, he's got Greater Air Elementals and the Wolffather, which is what you're going to see a lot of, and some Earth Elementals and Forest Shambler. Is this the same list he brought to fan card? It looks very familiar.
Yeah,
Very similar to the one he brought.
Yeah,
to
it
the
is. It is.
I think it is. He's bringing a unicorn, which I think is a pretty cool piece, and I thought a lot about putting that in my own list, but I decided I like something else a little bit better. But otherwise, I think the Forces of Nature list is pretty good. Where was I? I think started with Alex this time.
I already chose my winner here.
I just went first last time. I think we skipped over Mark.
No, I'm just kidding. I
I think I'm starting at the bottom, working my way up.
Who's going to win this?
It's all going to be fine.
I think. I actually think Joe's is pretty good with his Trident Realms here. I don't know how he does in the dojo realm here, but
I love Motley.
yeah, I think. I mean,
Damn.
my issue with this Force of Nature list, it's kind of an elite Force of Nature list. Like, it doesn't have a lot of punching power. I mean, you really it's just like all relying on the greater elementals getting the damage. It's like that's like the one trick that it has, and if those don't connect, then it's a lot of trouble with this list. Like, really kill stuff. So I think the game is really going to come down to whether those greater air elementals can get those flanks and rears that they need to kind of get the damage in. So. I hope the guy Joe knows how to play against that. So that's basically what it's coming down to. But if I had to pick, I probably would pick Lingle because I think Joe doesn't know what he's doing. So that's my bet.
Mark.
Can't fucking do it.
I
All right. I really like Joe's list.
do.
It could be because I wrote it. Alan, you can say, well, you can talk shit about it now. This is your time to shine.
Yeah, right.
This is fine. It's a pilot we're worried about here, right?
Yeah. No. So I think the only thing that'll work against Joe a little bit, as far as any form of player versus player, if I had to imagine, I'm guessing that Justin Lingle is getting a decent amount of games in, and well, Joe has not been playing as many games as of late. So if they both haven't, we're back to square one.
You're
But
at square one. Lingle has not played since Vanguard.
I was surprised
with
I was surprised with the Forces of Nature list, and I guess it's because the Wildfather is 300 points, and the Unicorn with the Alchemist Curse and Knowledgeable, I'm guessing shoots towards somewhere close to 200 points. He started running out of points, and he just has a lot of lower amounts of units. He doesn't have tons of hitting power outside of the greater air elementals hitting in flanks and the Wildfather itself, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Earth Elemental hordes. Like, a lot of people are just taking Earth Elemental regiments
Yeah.
And bumping up the hordes like makes them super tanky, but it does add
Yeah,
points.
it'll be for an interesting thing. Two things that I think will matter. Well, three things. One, there is a lot of ensnare in his list, so if he avoids getting surge flanked by some of this stuff and it has to hit in the front, that's going to slow Langle down a lot. The Leviathan's Banes being upgraded to Pierce 3 and having 3 of them, he's going to have to hide Weltfather from them because they will kill him dead. Speaking from personal experience on both sides.
I love this extra special glimpse into like Nerd Hammer Club culture.
Oh yeah, we're horrible.
Yeah.
We're not nice to each other, really.
Yeah, and then Ector and the Naiad Centurion with the trident running around, they can, she can ground things, and he has phalanx and ensnare. It's going to be kind of brutal. So I actually believe that Joe has the upper hand on this, and I'm going to go with Joe.
All right.
All right.
Boehner, you voting Langle?
I'm actually not.
Okay.
I'm not going to go with Langle. If I was just looking at this list versus list and not looking at players, I'd probably pick the Trident Realms list. So I'm going to try to do that more so than actually just pick who I think's going to win on the player aspect, because I really do like this Trident Realms list. I think it's a really good list.
No, that didn't hurt, Joe. You beat me at Pilgrimage.
What's up?
Just comment.
Oh, you talking?
Talking to haters.
The Earth
Talking to the
Elemental
comments.
Hordes. I like the regiments over them. I mean, they're -18 at the horde price, and you're normally not expecting them to carry your damage output. They're just literally meant to be tanks. And that's why I feel like the regiment is -15 is just as good as
it's so good.
A horde, and it saves you 100 points. So I don't like them in the hordes. I like them in regiments, and in this game, I think it's really going to hurt Langle because they do have ensnare, and now you're hitting on 5. 18 attacks hitting on 5s is, like Alex said, you're putting a lot of
honorable mention too is just the Pathfinder Hammer of Measured Force Thule unit running around with a possible 15-inch charge.
Yeah, they're fine.
That thing, depending on how the game goes, if that's not kept in check, it could just hit out of nowhere and just rip something's face off.
How much heal does Langle have? He has the Gladewalker Druid and AC. He does have
and he's got the Unicorn, so he's got some.
He's got some.
That's 4? Yeah.
No, 5. Unicorn's 5.
Unicorn's 5, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we still got that was cursed.
Gladewalker Druid's 4 with re-rolling 1s because he has.
And the regular Druid's
it's
only
an expensive
2,
way to heal 5 though, right? Like when you have Alchemist's Curse, so like that's
but
he's going to be using Alchemist's Curse more than
you got to keep in mind like Ector and the Naiad Centurion. Depending on where you put characters, Ector, weirdly enough, I mean, he has Wind Blast 8, but it damages, so he ignores the individual rule. He hits on 4s. And then the Naiad Centurion will just... the Naiad one has the Trident of the Drowned. If it just does a wound, it disorders. It's 5 shots hitting on 3s with Pierce 1.
I knew there was something I liked in there.
So that'll just straight disorder you. He could hit anything with that. Greater Air Elemental, just whatever.
Yeah. That's a fun piece. Yeah, like I said, if I was looking at list, I'd be going with the Trident Realm list.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I agree, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that's another split decision, and we will move on now to table 5. This is going to be Elliot Harris versus Chet Dudek. It's an Ogre versus a Goblin.
Goblins.
First Goblin list that we've seen of the 4 we got this time. 12 drops on the Ogre side for 23 unit strength, and 23 drops for 30 unit strength on the Goblin side. Here we go.
So sweet.
So over looking through the Ogres, he's got a Giant, he's got the Big Deal, he's got the double Warlocks and Nom Nom, double Siegebreaker Hordes, some Warrior Regiments, some Shooters, and some Hunters. Pretty solid Ogre list, I think. Mm-hmm. And looking at the Goblins, he's got 6 Rabble Hordes, as you do, plus a regiment of it. He's got all the toys that you want. He's got a Mop-Up Launcher, some Sharp Stick Throwers, some War Trombones, a couple of Mincers, a Wing It, Grony Snark, which I think is in every Goblin list, as it should be.
Great model.
Yeah.
A couple of Kings on Chariots and a couple of Troll Bruisers. So I think we're starting with Mark this time.
All right. Yeah, I like Grony Snark. I hate that he hits on 4s. I wish it was 3s, but they're Goblins. Let's be serious. Like that's their lives. So I like the Goblin list. I like the very cool. It's got some of the close range shooting, but the Sharp Stick Throwers, I think they're like 60 points at most in that army.
Yeah,
so you just pick up 3 real quick. Yeah, it's awesome.
great, yeah.
So are war trombones. They shouldn't be as cheap as they are.
I think the troll bruisers and the kings on chariots, if he uses them well, which he should be able to with 6 hordes of rabble, will get some good flanks, especially against siege breakers. You need those flanks to avoid the big shield. The ogre list, I don't mind. I like the shooters with elite. I'm a big fan of siege breakers, especially with waiver mitigation items. And the warlocks and Noma Gorak with all the lightning bolt and drain life is pretty devastating, I think, in general. I am fairly certain the last time Elliot played a game was at Battle Pilgrimage.
Nice.
So I don't know
Is
how
Elliot
much
the one that lost the mozzarella stick last year?
He lost. He didn't lose. It's not like they disappeared. He tripped in an elevator and ate shit and dropped them in front of an Asian family.
Well, did they eat them?
No, he tried to pick them all up and was like lamenting them, and they didn't know what to do because they were just trying to go up to their room.
They should have ate them.
Yeah, so it was. There's a whole thing.
Find us, keep us.
Poor man. Yeah, he said if he drops them this year, he's just gonna go home.
I thought that was. I couldn't remember if that was Elliot or not, but yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but I really.
I
really like the shooting potential. I like the mobility of the chariots and the troll bruisers to get flanks with having the 6 hordes of rabble. So I'm actually going to go with Chester.
All right. Boehner.
I love goblins, and I feel like we did not see them as much as we should. I think they're a super strong army. And I don't know. Is it why you have to paint 1,000 rabble? I don't know. But I think goblins are great, and I do like them in this matchup. So you kind of covered everything that I was going to say.
Yeah.
So without going any further, I'm going with Chet on this one. I love goblins. I love mass hordes of goblins, and this has it all.
All right, Alex.
All right. Yeah, I think you guys covered the major points. I mean, first of all, say Elliot, sorry about the mozzarella sticks.
Rest in peace.
It's rough out here.
Come find me. I'll get some mozzarella sticks. All right. I feel for you. I understand.
He's probably having flashbacks now, like helicopters going off, mozzarella stiff on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already playing psychological games.
Exactly. He's gonna be looking at the trombones, imagining mozzarella sticks.
Oh shit!
But having said that, I do think this ogre army is a little too elite. That's kind of my thing. I'm looking at it. It's a little like 12 drops is not enough because goblins, when they focus fire, they're picking up 1 to 2 units a turn, and that's an army they can't take that kind of heat. I think if they were like, I saw something like maybe like Boomer Chariots, where like you had kind of a stealthy aura and like a little bit more protection, then I might think they could survive it. But given the list as it is, I think the ogres. Excuse me. I think the goblins have the tools to kind of pick apart the ogres and to really just to win on those.
I mean, just imagine having 11 more drops when the person's done.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm also thinking about the giant. It doesn't say whether he actually took Rampage or Slayer, and that also if he took Slayer, like in this matchup, like he's gonna be a sad boy when that giant hits. Like,
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be funny. It's like, hey, I've got the scrying gym, and Chet's going to be like, all right, there's where I'm putting my 3 sharp stick throwers. Back to you, buddy.
Yeah, good for you, bud.
Yeah. According to the
he does have the scrying gym. Okay, so
he has Rampage as well on the giant, from what I can see here. So.
Okay, well, that's fun.
Yeah.
So
that's
fun,
cool. Giant into a bunch of little guys.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thematically, it's great, but I mean, he's going to riskly. He's probably going to do it once and then get shot off the table. So
So you're going with Chet as well?
I am, yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean that's so rough. Like, it's hard to when somebody's bringing that much shooting, and you're playing ogres, and they can see you over the goblins, and there's only not that many places to hide them. It's just going to be rough. It's going to be rough. So there you go. There's
terrain is nice. Maybe you could use that.
Maybe. Yeah, but
it's all close range fire though.
Yeah,
that does mean that the warlocks can see over the goblins to lightning bolt the trombones and shit like that. So,
yeah.
Elliot, if you play it just right, you might be able to.
Yeah, he'll have to target the right things.
Have to target the right things at the right time. If not, like everybody in the Southeast loses to this same goblin list all the time. This will just be another instance of that. So there you go, Jeff O'Neill special. Moving on to table 6. This is Cat Royer versus William Godzinas. Salamanders versus Elves. Salamander listed 13 drops and 24 unit strength, and the Elves are 12 drops and 23. So coming in right about average. Over on Cat's side, she's got her double unblooded hordes that she likes. I think this is pretty much the same list she brought to Vanguard, double Scorchwing Hordes, Greater Fire Elemental, Ancient Phoenix, Regular Phoenix, Battle Captain, Rakowis, some Tyrants, nice variety of units there. And then over on the elf side, triple Glade Stalker Regiment, double Sea Guard Regiment, some Stormwinds, some Drakons, the Archmage with the Periscope so you can see over things, Nimue, a Tree Herder, Argus, and Tidarian, just all of the Living Legend characters over there. Rocking out. Who did I start with last time? Is it Mark's turn, or did I start with Mark last time?
Yeah.
I think it's my turn.
You can start with it whatever you want, buddy. It's your
just
show.
pick.
Yeah, Mike, you pick us out.
All right, let's start with Boehner then.
All right, so I think that is the same list that Kat took down to Vanguard, and I loved it. I just think it's a cool list. It's a fun list. It looks like elves. This is something that I played and I love. I love playing elves, and I really like this list. It has all the cool little characters. Way Dancer, that's really fun piece to play. Tree Herder, always solid. Argus, I never leave home without when I take these lists. The Dragon Lord, though, that's one piece that I just so far hasn't spoke to my soul. So I don't take that. Celestial Restoration, I haven't seen that used too much, and it could be fun to heal your Drakon hordes when they're out flying around, but I think there's other spells I'd rather take over top of that.
It's a shame you don't get the rerolls either.
Don't you? Oh, yeah.
It's not a standard spell.
It's not a standard spell. The hordes, great. I would like to, if I take the Drakon hordes, I always like putting one of the either Fury on them or Dwarven Ale, just because they're so expensive, and if they even take a little bit of damage and get that lucky waiver, it's so frustrating to have a 250 plus unit just sitting there.
Yeah,
but he has
these boots.
Yeah, something I would like on them. I think I'd even over just Jesse's boots. I take the waiver items, and then as one does, three Glade Stalkers and the Sea Guard. A lot of shooting. When you have the shooting, it takes pressure off you. It's more of a you have to come to me. So in this matchup, I like elves. I feel like they have Scorchwing Hordes though. Oh man, you know what? Nah, take it back. Hell with elves. I'm going with Cat. Scorchwing Hordes for the win. Take them down.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Okay, Alex.
Yeah, Scorchwing Hordes. I don't think they were in the last list.
So,
honestly.
I don't know if they were in.
I don't think they were in her last list.
I think she had one.
I looked over and I was like, wait, there's 2 Scorchwing Hordes? Nah, that changes my mind. Go for it.
I think she had one horde.
Two things I really like about the Salamanders list. One is a double Scorchwing Horde, and the second is a double Phoenix. I think those two elements really changed this matchup quite dramatically. Because
I was like, I don't think she had dual Phoenix.
Yeah, because that really adds enough of a range threat that when focused on the same target, like the elves are too fragile to really absorb that, and then the healing and the damage that it can put out is just too much, in my opinion. That I think
I like it.
That it skews it a little bit in the Salamander's favor. I mean, I think the Alchemist's Curse is just too much. I think tools that are coming at the elves that they can't quite survive it. I really think Kat, assuming Kat gets a full 8 hours of sleep going into this game, I think she's got it. I know that's not always a given. So Kat, I hope you get some good sleep and get a good game. Is she
going there Friday night?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Will she be there Friday?
Right, she might be there for the Friday tournament in the morning. I don't even know.
Yeah. Okay. Mark, what do you think?
Yes, and going off of what they were saying, I agree with the points that were made. The 2 Scorchwing Hordes, I think, are really strong, especially if you run them together. You can combine their shooting. Their threat is pretty brutal. 3 units of Glade Stalkers, I mean, the shooting for that, it can be really good. I mean, that could kill a unit of Scorchwings right out the gate, but it'll depend on deployment or if she plays them further back. And I love the Phoenix. The Phoenixes, they both, whether they're ancient or not, still have heal 5, right? So that's heal 10 in the list. That's going to be brutal. That's going to weather a lot of the shooting. If it doesn't kill something outright, she can bring it back, which is really awesome. I am not super sold on the Dragon Lord for elves. I've seen it played a few times. I mean, dragons themselves, I think they sometimes struggle in this game from what I've seen. And once again, I don't like the Dragon Riders with no item. I feel like if you don't have waiver mitigation or like Jesse's boots, you have a very expensive unit, especially with the terrain setup we saw. that could be looking at a lot of important combats that it's going to be hindered in, which sucks. So I'm actually going to go with Cat as well.
All right. That will be a clean sweep there. Moving on to table 7. Justin Berg versus Joe Borghese. This is going to be an Ogre versus Dwarf matchup. 13 drops and 23 unit strength on the Ogre side, and 14 drops and 24 unit strength on the Dwarf side. Justin's Ogre list is triple Siege Breakers, Boomer Chariot Troop to get the Stealthy Aura, a couple of Red Goblin Slashers, triple Warlocks, double Sarges. The Dwarf list over on Joe's side, 4 Iron Guard regiments with Mastiffs, triple Sharpshooters, some Brock Riders, Massive Hunting Pack, both Gog's Fury and a Steel Behemoth and Faber, and double Dwarf Lord on Large Beast. That is a boatload of defense and nerve to have to get through. Whew. Let's pop back to Mark and see what he thinks about this one.
So I actually really like this Ogre list. I love the 3 Siegebreaker hordes, all with waiver mitigation items. I think that's horrifically strong. I haven't seen somebody run Red Goblin Slashers with at all, actually, in Ogres yet. But I think that's very, very interesting, though, with the War Trumpets, is that same thing. It's just the 12-inch shooting. It's tons of shooting, and it's pretty awesome. The only thing that I think sucks in this case is he happens to be matched up against, I don't know, 7 defense, 6 things, 8, something along there.
They don't die easily.
And most of that shooting is, Pierce 1, and they don't die easily. He's got the 3 units of sharpshooters, which I am aware of that he has the Boomer Chariots for the stealth aura with Sacred Horn, so they're not going to be as effective. But it's just going to be so hard for him to chew through all that defense 6. And whereas he has defense 6 of the Siege Breakers, which is awesome, there is, especially with the 2 Dwarf Lords on Beast and Golux Fury and another Steel Behemoth, that's an extremely large amount of hitting power if he plays that right. So just off the matchup, I'm going to go off of I'm going to go with Joe.
All right, Alex.
So, as a longtime Dwarf player, I'll say that this Ogre list has every single tool that it needs, I think, to win this game. I think it absolutely has the shooting protection, the hitting power, the sort of sustainability with some of the drain life stuff. It's going to take a hell of a game to make it work together, but I think Justin has the tools to do it, and just for fun, I'm going to vote for him because I think I think Justin can do it.
It's definitely doable.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely doable, and I think I think it's it can come down to a good game plan. I think Joe's a very good player, and I think this is a tough match, but I think for fun, I think Justin, I think you got this, man. I think I got faith in you. I think I trust you. You bring us home.
All right, Alan.
I love the Drain Life and Siege Breakers. I'm a big fan of that. The Boomer Chariot with the Sacred Horn is going to get probably some value this game as well. Throwing Mastiffs, obviously don't care about that, but even like what are you going to throw your Mastiffs into? Maybe the Warriors Regiment, but then you're trying to line up against something like that. So sometimes you're just going to throw those Mastiffs where they could go, and it might not pay off in this matchup. I think there is 9 defense 6 units in Joe's list. I think
it's 9.
It's pretty solid.
I mean that's Dwarves for you, right? Like that's just
and if you position Iron Guard right, like you just can't get multiple units in. You can't get multiple Siege Breaker Horde. You can't get multiple Warriors. I mean, maybe.
And he has that annoying Massive Hunting Pack.
Yeah, like if you're not positioned right, I mean, you could even just angle regiments and they can't do nothing about it. If you really want to hold tokens, and this is Fool's Gold. You could literally just sit on tokens, say, come to me, or I'm just going to keep shooting you and eventually try to wear you down. And then when you finally make it, you get a flank. And I think Dwarves are crazy overpowered. I just think they're so good.
In the end, I'm emotionally damaged.
I'm emotionally damaged by Dwarves. Dale's made me hate this game. I don't want to play anymore.
Good God.
No, I'm just joking.
Why don't you start Dwarves?
I am going to start Dwarves.
You have a Dwarf army, I think. I remember you playing.
I sold it back at one point.
Oh, okay.
But,
good. Don't rebuy it.
No, there's definitely some.
You're weak, dude. You don't deserve it.
You're weak.
Yeah.
You're weak. I'm going for Dwarves in this one.
All right. So that's a split decision there. That should be a very interesting game to watch. I played Joe at Pilgrimage with a very similar list in yet, so it's so hard to chew through all that stuff. So
and Justin, who's Justin Berg? Is he part of the loaded
I
dice?
think he's Northeast. He's
Yeah,
a Northeast player.
He's Northeast.
He's a great player.
Was he at Nerdhammer last year?
I think he was.
Did
Yeah,
he
I believe
win that?
No, that
he
was
makes it down.
Joey Greek.
Yeah, he makes it down to a lot of our.
Yeah, he makes
I think he was at Pilgrimage. Yeah,
I think I watched one of his games. He is good though.
He is good. He's a very good player.
Yeah, so he's got it.
I watched him from like a distance. He doesn't know who I am. I was just looking at him for a long period of time, and he didn't realize. Yeah, you know, a little bit.
Creepily gaze.
I haven't like been on his Facebook. I don't know like what his family looks like, but you know.
Yeah, not there. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
All right, table 8 is going to be John Helbig versus Brandon Hill. So this is our big drop, big unit strength. Kingdoms of Men list, 22 drops and 40 unit strength for John, and he's facing an undead list piloted by Brandon, which is 14 drops and 26 unit strength. So take a look at this 40 unit strength Kingdoms of Men list. It's 5 regiments of pole arms, 2 regiments of foot guard, double fanatics, double bowmen, triple beast cav, 2 siege artillery, 2 ballistas, 2 standard bearers, and a wizard. Just guys. Just that's
still, it's just so much. It's awesome.
It's gonna be cool.
I love it.
It's gonna be cool to look at. I have no idea if it's gonna.
Oh, it looks great.
But looking across at the undead side, there's kind of a lot of bodies over there too. He's got double zombie legions, 3 zombie troll hordes, which I really like. Zombie troll hordes. Those are great. Triple white hordes, double catapults, a couple of mounted rev kings, necromancer for the vicious aura for the zombies, and a standard bearer with a little extra surge just for another source of surge. Let's start with Alex this time. Alex, what do you think of this matchup?
So I don't know if I've seen John's army before. I just imagine like there was always that one army, that one person who like just played Bretonnia but wouldn't take knights. So like I'm going to take peasants and more peasants. And like, why would I buy a knight when I can just buy more peasants, right? Like, and it's like I just imagine this full model count army on the table. Like I don't know if it is or not, but
I hope
in my mind it is. It's full model count, 20 models on the tiny base.
It's not.
Okay, well.
They're on circle bases.
My mind still is.
It's his Bretonian army from Age of Sigmar, so he has circle bases on inserts and square bases. I just played against this twice on Saturday, so.
You ruined everything for me.
Yeah.
So,
yep, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you all the things.
Undead.
Exactly. What was potentially awesome is now another thing. But I mean, that list is just, I don't know, it's just a bunch of humans, right? I don't know. I feel like I just can't vote for them just on principle. Like, I don't know. I think.
You just can't do it.
I can't do it. I just can't do it. Yeah, exactly. Like,
I'll say this: I played 2 games against that. The first one was our last scrum game, and it was my Glade Stalker list, which you can imagine is not what that army wants to see. No. Okay, right. So then I played it with my other undead list, which is 9 zombie legions with 5 characters because I'm broken. I almost ran this at the ACO just for Mike Atkins, but I didn't because it's not painted. But the thing that's weird about the army, I think it does better into things that don't have shooting, so it gets some time with the siege artillery, the ballistas, and the little bit of lightning bolt. The archers, they can get hot or not. I mean, it's whatever. So the one saving grace I think that John has for this matchup is there isn't really any shooting in that other list. So he has some time. He might be able to do a few wounds to the zombies or start to, drop the siege artillery onto whites.
Yeah,
that's the best chance That's the best chance he has. I love John to death. The list doesn't. Yeah,
it's a classic like artillery and shooting versus like healing, right? Like
it's fucking defense.
Like, can he have damage to healing?
It's a defense 3 army.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So like,
I had to ask him that 15 times.
They're gonna.
You guys defense 4? No, man, 3.
Exactly.
No, they're 3 too. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I gotta go undead on this one. Like, it's just like on paper, I'd rather play the undead list, and that's kind of where I'm going. I think.
On paper and from my experiences, I'm gonna go with the undead list. The only thing that they don't have going for them is a bunch of their units have Crush 2, which is wasted on this army.
Yeah. Now I'm definitely going with Kingdoms of Men. I love it.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. Don't even move. Make him come to you. Make his slow ass come to you and just hold on tokens. And then at the end of the game, you dominate the unit train.
Now I will say this: that is one thing that is highly hilarious. Is he can just displace 6 units to just go get tokens or sit in corners, and he's still going to outnumber people.
Just sit there and don't give up any flanks, and you make him come to your front. You hold those tokens. You stand your ground, Stan Marsh.
Yeah, he will. He will down half a bottle of Doers by turn 3 in this game.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's the real question: is does Brandon like Doers?
Right, exactly. So I want to say I love you, John Helbig. I love you so much. I'm going to go with Brandon though because we have to go with sanity.
No, John, we live in chaos.
All right, split decision there. So that's going to bring us to table 9. This is Max Kenny versus Thomas Strother. This is another one of our Goblin lists versus Abyssal Dwarves because it's Thomas. So, of course, it's going to be Abyssal Dwarves. On the Goblin side, 16 drops and 21 unit strength versus 14 drops and 27 unit strength on the Abyssal Dwarf side. So, more drops on the Goblin side, more unit strength on the Abyssal Dwarves. Looking over the Goblin list, he's got a couple of Sharp Sticks hordes as opposed to Rabble, which is interesting. He's got the Grogger's Lug Lads Living Legend horde. He's got Trolls with Sharpness, and I had to look up what Det Packs were. That's basically they blow up and damage you if you kill them.
Yes, they do.
Triple Mincer Mobs. Triple.
Say what it really is. It blows up and damages a lot of stuff.
True.
Within a range.
Yeah.
Within a range, yeah. A couple of Wingets, the King with the Pendant, Groaning Snark because it's Goblin list, and a Bangin' and a Whiz. And the Abyssal Dwarves are some Black Soul regiments, some Lesser Obsidian Golem regiments and hordes, some half-breeds, Triple Infernoc, Brachybarca, and an Ironcaster. So let's start with Alan this time.
All right. I love the defense 6 that Thomas always brings. Lesser Obsidian Golems are just awesome. Defense 6, crushing 2 with vicious. Amazing. Good stuff. I love goblins. This isn't the way I picture my goblins. I like to picture my goblins the way that Chad played them. Front row of a Leonard Skinner concert with big angel wings out. But yeah. It's different. I like trolls that blow up. Should have doubled down and went with the crystal pendant and just charged them into whatever you wanted.
Why the fuck did you just say that out loud? He's watching this probably.
What? Tell him to do it.
He will.
Double that damage.
Yeah, you just did this. You did
it's
this.
It's like the Joker when he's looking at Batman. Come on, hit me. I want you to hit me.
The next fucking matchup cast we see, Max is gonna come up. You're gonna look and be like, "I did it.
I did it."
Yeah, I did it.
It's like just and then the strangest thing will kill him too, and it'll just be a waste. It'll be like one little character or something like that. I know. Or they just get shot to death and you wasted it anyway. But
it'll be beautiful.
But you just protect them and you let them die when you want them to die.
Yep.
But in this game, I do like Thomas's list in this matchup.
All right, Mark.
Yes.
So I do know the horror of playing against the 3 elite rock throwers with the Wingets and the Bang It and Wizards and stuff running around just shooting you in the face. And they are Pierce 3, which is really, really good. Tom, I feel like the last time I played, are you just adding more Obsidian Golems every time? Is this what's happening to you?
I think so, yeah. It's more than I remember.
More.
Yeah.
No,
just more.
This is Infernoc. He added more Infernoc.
But there's 2 hordes and 3 regiments of golems.
Yeah, it's 5 units of Obsidian Golems.
I don't remember.
He had the 3 last time I played him, definitely.
Okay.
But he only had 1 Infernoc, I think.
Oh, okay.
So now there's 2 more. Yeah.
And then we've got 3 Infernocs who are all defense 6.
Yep.
And then we've got Baraki
Barca,
who is speed charge range 16 with dread.
Yeah.
And 7 attacks or some shit, or 8 attacks, something horrible.
All this stuff. Yeah.
He's a fun piece.
Good God. Yeah, I do like Max's list. Like I said, I like the artillery. I've seen it. It works very, very well. And thankfully he has the troll horde with sharpness so they can hit on 3s. Sadly though, the mincer mobs, the thing I do not like about them, and it's bothered me a lot, is they hit on 4s. And they are Crush 1 Thunder 1, so once they get dug in, whatever they don't break, they end up just fighting with Crush 1. And I think since he has 3 units of those, I think that Tom's going to end up getting dug in with him, and I think Tom's going to win that out.
Yeah, a lot of the time you see sharpness on mincer mobs. It's like
all the goblin lists I've wrote, I only take 1 unit.
I think I would have
sharpness because it's all that I can handle in my life. As soon as I see them hitting on 4s with no Strider or Pathfinder, I just get fucking depressed.
I might have gave sharpness to the mincer mobs and let the trolls do what they're meant to do.
Let the trolls do what they're meant to do.
And
give them the retribution pendant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
Sharpness is a very expensive upgrade to put on a unit that you also want to self-destruct, right?
It is. Yes, it is. So I think I think it's going to be just a really hard time with the Infernox running around at defense 6, just getting in the way of whatever they want, and then the Obsidian Golems hitting, and just the whole time, Bracky's just running around with Dread and just punching people in the face, and he's gonna turn probably whatever combat he gets into against Goblins. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tom on this one.
All right, Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked major points. I mean, the items just seem misplaced. Like sharpness on the troll part. Like I don't know. That's just a weird choice. Like they're meant to die, but then they're meant to fight. Like it's like, yeah, I almost imagine it's like if I'm confused, you're confused. Like it's like.
Now I will say this. Yeah, I will say this. So you meet certain players who play certain armies, like people who play like Ratkin, Goblins, and they're like broken as people, like they're cracked. That's Max Kenny. Like he's gonna get there and he's just gonna be like, I throw rocks and maybe do a shot and like.
It's about sending a message, Alex.
Yeah. It's not about winning the game for Max. It's about sending a message. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I predict the message will be sent this game.
Yeah.
And I'm also voting Thomas because I think that's just too much defense 6.
Yeah.
All right.
So much defense 6.
It's a lot.
All right. Clean sweep for Thomas. Moving right along to table 10. We are 2/3 of the way done.
Yes.
This is Warren Warrior versus Bart Kohler. This is a Goblin versus Orc matchup. Green all the time. 24 drops and 24 unit strength on the Goblin side. And you know that if Goblins have 24 drops and only 24 unit strength, you know what that shit's got in its list. Oh my god.
You know what's about to happen to you.
You know that Warren was like, fuck you, I don't need to make friends. That's not why I'm here. 14 drops for Bard on the Orc side and 26 unit strength. So yeah, over on the Goblin list, it's pretty much like the Jeff O'Neill special, man. It's 6 hordes of rabble and then just all the fucking toys and Grony Snark and Magwin Joes for fun. This is the Goblin list, y'all. This is what it looks like. Over on the Orc side, he's got a couple of Long Axe regiments, a Great Axe board, a couple of Troll hordes, some Gore Riders, some Orklings, a War Drum, a God Speaker, a Bruiser, Gakamak, Crudger, and then another Crudger. One on a Chariot, one on a Wing Slasher. So nice variety. Like clearly Bart was just like, I feel like getting out all of my old Orc units and then running them around to see what happens. And what's going to happen is they're going to get the shit shot out of them. So let's start with who to start with last time. Let's start with Alex this time. What do you think, Alex?
Poor Orcs, man. I mean, I respect the move Bart is doing here, pulling the old Orcs out of retirement. Like, the old man putting the gloves on one more time. But holy shit, it's a rough matchup. Yeah, I love Bart. I love Bart. Don't get me wrong. Like, Bart is my favorite person in the world. But I don't see how he doesn't get just absolutely shot off the table. I mean, the problem with the Orcs too is like they're slow. They're not even that tough, really. It's like they have a little bit of like nerve, maybe like with the war drums, but like it's just I don't know, man. Like it's just such a brutal battle, and I say that out of love because I know I've tried to make Orcs work. I've played Orcs for a while, so like I respect what he's trying to do here. But man, that's a tough matchup. So I think like there's just not enough going here. I mean, it's like you're gonna kill some rabble and then the rest is gonna shoot you off the table. So like I think maybe Bart can maybe play the scenario really really well and like sneak out a small win or like a draw or something like that, and that kind of the victory that I see. But otherwise, like this is the army you want to see when you're playing goblins, like just like kind of like only a couple threats that you really even care about, and the rest you just kind of shoot off the table.
All right, so that's going for Warren. Boehner, what do you think?
This is like where I think Bart wants his Night Stalkers in this matchup. But unfortunately, it's the orcs, and I think Bart mentioned it himself in 3. It's not what he wants to see in this matchup. Somebody hurt Warren. He brought somebody hurt this person, and he's bringing some filth. This is what I would like to play.
Who hurt you, Warren?
I love it.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you. I want to play this list.
Mark.
Bart, you beautiful broken hunk of shit. You found this army. Like, you played this in fantasy. You found this army in your fucking basement. You sick bastard. I don't know. This fucking works. Like, you have a Night Stalkers army. I thought we were doing that, and it was going well, and you were like, look, they do things. Now we're going with a giant heavy infantry army, not leading but 2 things, Jack and shit. Jack left town. And then Warren's running the something happened to me in the alleyway fucking goblins list.
This man's coming to win.
Yeah.
Warren, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's filthy.
That is filthy. He even fit in Mogwell's and Joe. Oh, what are you drinking there, bud? I got derailed, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was pouring out for Bart. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, somebody should.
We started drinking beer, but for this list, we're switching.
Yeah, I got the bourbon out for this review here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I started with it, but Bart, I love you to death. I'm gonna go with Warren, but I'm just gonna preface that with I love you.
Yeah.
I hope it goes well.
I will say at the San Antonio Masters, I had to play against Travis Tim, who basically plays the same goblin list, just all rabble horde, all shooting. And I was playing like Glass Hammer Abyssals, and everybody on the matchup cast was like, Mike, you're going to get tabled by turn 4. And I was like, yes, I know. And then I got there, and Travis managed to not hit with any of his shooting until turn 5, and I nearly tabled him. So it can happen, but Bart, I'm sorry to say it's already happened once this century, so it's not happening again. Sorry,
stars are already aligned.
The only thing I'll give you...
I got there first, man. I'm sorry.
The only thing I'll give him is Warren is still new and does not play many games, so his time clock is a factor, and you need to have good time management to play goblins in this build, in my opinion.
It's true.
So maybe if you give Warren enough alcohol, he will clock
maybe if
himself.
You lie to him about the rules, and
he can clock himself by turn 5, giving you the opportunity to draw.
These are special orcs that only get hit on 6s by war machines.
That's also the way to do it. Yep, that's the way to do it.
All right, let's check out what's happening on. Oh, look here, marquee matchup. Here we go. Derek Sindstrom versus Alex Chavez.
There's top table right there.
There we go, baby. The first of we got a couple of good marquee matchups.
We do.
Given to us by the random pairing generating gods here. And this is one of them. We got Derek Sindstrom versus Alex Chavez. Basileans versus Dwarves. 14 drops and 26 unit strength on the Basilean side. And 15 drops and 25 unit strength on the Dwarf side. So looking over Derek's list is very similar to what he had at Vanguard. It might be the same list. But lots of Elohi, lots of Knights, a couple of Phoenixes, Ogre Palace Guard, and a Wizard and some Men-at-Arms. And Alex's list is a couple Iron Guard regiments, a Berserker Troop, 4 Sharpshooters, God's Fury, Faber Ironheart, a couple of Dwarf Lords on Large Beasts, and that Hammers of the King formation. So let's start with Alan. What do you think of this matchup?
Well, I have to put out an apology because I forgot that Elohi fucking Inspire. I thought they lost that. I thought they lost that rule with Divine Favor, and I was reminded the next day that they do not.
The crowning achievement of that whole entire fucking cast.
So I had to throw that out there. Sometimes you get new rules, and I'm like, oh, they lost it. No, they did not. So, but I still think it's funny. Just I wanted to picture an ogre chasing down angels.
Yep.
It amuses me.
telling them that they're doing so good.
Yeah, I love that he won with that list. I love when a new list wins. I love when a new player wins. It strengthens my belief in this game. I love and hate dwarfs. And Alex as well. So
yeah.
I love and hate.
Wow, we're having some fucking feelings right now.
I'm jumping this out now.
Dumping.
I Alpha Strike versus a wall. This could go either way. This is a toss-up in my opinion. Derek obviously wants to go to him. The first turn matters for sure. I'm gonna go with Alex.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mark, what do you think?
So
Alpha Strike versus a wall, shooting versus Iron Resolve. What do you think?
It's a brutal matchup. Whoever goes first, it gets quite an advantage. I mean, the sharpshooters, most of Derek's army is height 3+, so you have, you're able to shoot almost what you want throughout the game, which might come into play quite a bit. You have, of course, your phalanx formation, which is going to fuck up all the flyers in the cab, which is basically his whole army. But at the same time, Derek has the Ogre Palace Guard to run in the way and other things like that. The terrain might actually help him out a little bit because he can hide behind and in things to prevent the shooting, and then he can fly out and hit you. But vice versa, you can sit in woods and just sit there. So I'd say it's going to be anybody's game, but Derek's just coming off his GT win, and he's a fucking animal, and he's also my club mate who won us the cup, so I'm going to go with Derek. And fuck you, Alex, actually.
Did they put Dojo on that cup, or did they put Derek on that plaque?
Yeah.
Because that's what it should have been.
It's good stuff. Hey, I went 3-2.
Alex,
I'm going to die on that hill.
I would die on it too. 3-2 is solid in this rocket, man. 3-2 is solid.
Yeah, so I think Derek's back is still recovering a bit from the fucking amount he had to carry going into Vanguard. I mean, that was ridiculous.
It was a total Samwise movie. Picked up Frodo and just put him all the way there.
Yeah, he picked up Frodo and picked up the two other hobbits.
I was Frodo. Mike Bill was the fucking Goblin King.
It was absurd. I mean, I can you do it again? Probably.
I love you, Mike.
I mean, so
thank you for running the GT we're about to be in.
I'll vote Derek. I think Derek's got me. I mean, this is kind of a classic. I think Unstoppable Force meets a movable object, right? We'll see which one bends, right? So it's
gonna be horrific.
Yeah, Derek. I got voting for Derek on this one. Good luck, buddy.
All right.
What a gentleman.
Oh yeah, too classy. I hate it.
Table 12 coming into the bottom third of the matchups here, and it's 10 till 10. We are moving right along. And what's going on here?
Still got painting to do.
Good God.
It's going to be Kevin Strong versus Dale Motley. This is a Night Stalker versus Forces of Nature matchup. 14 drops to 24 unit strength on the Night Stalker side, 13 drops to 24 unit strength on the Forces of Nature. Over on the Night Stalkers, we got 4 Doppelganger regiments. Interesting choice. A couple of Scarecrow hordes. Triple Screeches with their new rules. So that's triple Singing Aberrations. With Lightning Bolt and Mind Fog.
Fucking fair.
Double Shadow Hulk, Terror, Horror, and Shakira.
Shakira.
Pretty interesting Night Stalker list. And checking out the Force of Nature list. A regiment of Naiad Heart Piercers, which you don't see all that often anymore. A couple of Worm Rider hordes. 4 Scorchwing hordes. Oh, there they are. Okay.
There they are. There it is.
What's going on here? Heart Piercers. The fuck is? Oh, there they are.
Oh, there they are. Look at that.
Double Greater Air Elementals, Druid, Glade Walker, and a Unicorn for some support. Pretty solid and fun-looking Force of Nature list, I think. Let's start with Mark. What do you think?
So, I'm partly to blame for this doppelgangers thing. I'm not going to lie. I was like, they're really good. Do this. And I used to run an army that had 3 of them, and they're pretty funny. I don't know. So Dale's list is just very strange to me. Not that it's not bad in any way. It's just I'm not used to seeing heart piercers in Forces of Nature. I don't even know what the difference between Naiad Worm Riders in Forces of Nature is to Trident Realms. I'm imagining they lose some of their maneuverability for hitting power. Maybe.
I think they're exactly the same.
No, they're not.
Or
I
not.
know that. I know there's something different about them.
They're
I
a
just
little
don't know what
different.
it is.
I think then maybe nerve and defense are a little different, maybe something like that.
We got the resident
Oh.
Joe Ferry to help us out with that. So we got Speed 7, Thunder 2, so that's already different, and no Nimble.
No nimble.
So wait,
Yeah.
the Trident Realms don't have Nimble.
Trident Realms
have
ones
Nimble.
have Nimble and Pathfinder, and there's
Well, they have
16,
Pathfinder,
18. These ones have no Nimble. They're Speed 7 instead of 8.
Yeah.
And their
Mhm.
Thunderous
15.
Charge 2 instead of Crush 1.
No, their
Yeah.
Thunder is 2 and Crush 1, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's actually pretty
Whoa.
good.
And they're
I
and they're
think,
15,
don't quote
and
me.
they're
I got that
17.
whole.
No,
reading
that
wrong,
actually
so-
makes sense. That actually,
and they're
I would
15,
believe that.
17, and the
Yeah.
Trident Realms ones are 16,
So-
18. So
Yeah.
So Crushing Strength 1. Dale's in here. So all right, so that's very hitty.
They're
That's
disgusting.
pretty fucking good.
Regen 5.
What's really funny about it is honestly, almost all that hitting power is wasted outside of just the Shadow Hulks, because most of the rest of his army is just like defense 4 and 3. The Heart Piercers are going to have a hard time doing a whole lot. I think they may be a non-factor in this matchup.
Yeah, if he hides.
Yeah. Scorch Wings are going to be kind of horrific. I mean, they have enough shooting where they can kind of overcome the stealthy, and they can also just charge into things. They can get around flanks, all that cool shit. I'm actually looking. I don't know, outside of the Naiad Worm Riders. Actually, even them, they're only Crush 1. There's not a lot of great targets for the doppelgangers to mimic in this army, really.
No, there's not.
Which is
I'll be
fucking unfortunate.
I'll be surprised maybe if they even get into combat.
Right. I do think 3 Mind Screeches is pretty good into this Forces of Nature list, because there's a lot of defense 4 running around.
Yeah.
So at least there's that, and the Shadow Hulks, they hurt people. And I think almost Dale's entire army will give them the Slayer D3.
Not the Heart Piercers, but yeah.
But all the combat units?
Yeah, and the Unicorn, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so actually, sadly, because of that, the Terror actually loses out on that Rampage 8 a whole lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking unfortunate, because that thing just changed and got worse, in my opinion. Because it went down to Speed 6 and became Defense 4.
Doesn't have like 20 attacks, though, now with Rampage.
With Rampage. It'll have, it has Rampage 8. So it has 12 attacks, it hits on 3s.
Send it into Druid.
Yeah.
Melee 3, it used to be...
Send it into Druid. Get that value worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm actually, funny enough, I'm going to go with, based off the list, I'm going to go with Dale, because I think the Doppelgangers are rad. I do like that they have Elite, they have the Strength for Crush 1 and the Drunken Ram, but they don't really have great things to really mimic outside of maybe the Naiad Worm Riders. And the Scorch Wings, and everybody's going to out-threat them a lot.
Yeah. Dale's
All right, Alex.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think I've ever seen 4 doppelganger regiments in an army before. That's definitely kind
It's
of
a lot.
It's like a bold choice, right? You call that that's a bold move, Cotton, right? Like,
Well, you look at it this way: you fight against something like Ogres, and suddenly 4 regiments of Doppelgangers become fucking outrageous.
Great, exactly, and that's the sort of trick of this match.
So that's what you're banking on.
Yeah, you're banking on fighting that opponent that's got a lot of attacks and all those things you want to get, good values you want to get off of it. This list is not really what you want to see when you kind of
No, it's not. That's what I mean.
And
List
yeah.
versus list. I think Dale's got the list for it.
And the 4 Scorchwing Hordes is absolutely gross. I mean, those things are just really, really efficient right now for what they do. I mean, they shoot, they fight, they have Pathfinder. We saw the map. The map's full of terrain. I mean,
I would feel better for the Mind Screeches if they were still height 5, but being height 4, they also can't hide behind things if they want to avoid the cover now.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's like a little. And the lightning bolt is good, but is it enough to make a dent on army? I don't know. I don't know if it is. And I know Dale's obviously a very strong player, so I think even though he kind of pulled this army out of his ass, I think as far as I know, I don't know experienced he is with Force of Nature. I mean, he went
disgusting.
to.
He made
I think
maybe
he's definitely
maybe plays 5 UB games a week with this army.
He does.
I don't know.
Even without that, though, he was playing Order of the Green Lady. He's familiar with flying units,
Sure.
and he's played against them a bunch of times, so it's not anything that he's not aware of. And the other thing that sucks is in front of the doppelgangers, you only have 2 Scarecrow hordes, which can probably, even with stealthy and their defense 3, be peeled off by the Scorchwing shooting. Well, the Scorchwings are not threat by them.
Right, I agree, and I mean, I think even though this army, like, I feel a little like screams a little desperate from Dale for me. I don't know what he's I feel like Dale is like he's done really well this year. I don't know why he didn't stick to the dwarves or like
maybe he's just tired.
Yeah, maybe he's tired. Maybe this is time. Maybe this is his list.
Maybe maybe he was like, I'm tired of running 8 inches.
He wants that maneuverability.
He wants a little more, maybe. Yeah, I mean, we all want more, right? So, I gotta vote Dale here. I think Dale's got this one.
All right. Beans, what do you think?
Shut up, Dale.
I played against this list, and it's just annoying. It's very annoying. I had an idea back before I started my Force of Nature. I was gonna go with like 3 Scorchwings, and I was like, this is depressing to play against. And 4, he can maneuver them wherever he wants to go. They're a great unit for 200 points. I just feel like they shouldn't hit on 3s. If they hit on 4s in combat, maybe it would be a different story. But hitting on 3s with Thunderous One, they could charge into things if they want. So you hide doppelgangers in a woods. Okay, you're hitting on 6s. Well, Dale's just going to move around and then force you to look some way. Greater Air Elemental is going to be somewhere. Like, you're just not going to get away from this list. And it's a good list. It's a really good list.
I'm hoping that in our rounds, him and I actually come into contact this tournament.
Your list is kind of the one that we talked about, like that you don't want to see.
Yeah, I know that, but I've waited for this, Alan. I've waited for this moment. All right, all of you are starting to change lists to not defense 6 and all this shit. I need this. All right,
let me have my moment. Let me have my moment.
I'm tired of fighting dwarves and fucking Alpha Strike Order the Green Lady defense 5 regen lists.
Yeah, so I like it. I don't even know if the doppelgangers will get to see like a regiment. Like a fight against anything that Dale has if Dale chooses to just dance.
Yeah, Dale's going to choose the engagements.
Yeah, Dale gets to pick where he wants to go.
Yeah, I believe outside of Esanitra, the longest range that anything goes is 12 inches.
Yeah. So my vote goes for Dale.
All right. Run and gun. He will. Table 13, Brian Hoffman versus Steve Forster. So it's going to be another one of our Goblin lists. So it's going to be Sylvankin versus Goblins. 11 drops on the Sylvankin side, very lean with 20 unit strength, and 22 drops with 24 unit strength over on the Goblin side. Looking over the Sylvankin, you've got 4 regiments of Glade Stalkers, a 4 Shambler Horde, a Greater Air Elemental, a King, Green Lady, Wolffather, and double Tree Herders. And on the Goblin side, you've got 4 hordes of rabble and 3 regiments, Mincer Mob, and then trombones, launchers, wingets, slasher, Grony Snark, because he just comes standard with Goblin list now. A couple of bangets, a couple of whizzes, and Mogwin Chose. Let's start with Alex this time. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. This is a little bit of deja vu with the Sylvankin list. I think there's some things I definitely noticed that are similar to another list here. What are you saying? Man, it's like it's a lot of units that are really good. Like Glade Stalkers are great against Goblins. That's a movement and shooting is exactly what you want. But having said that, there is so much Goblin beef here, and it's a little bit like this list is pretty fighty too. I think this list is like it's easy to underestimate that Mincer Mob regiment coming in just doing a ton of damage. They have sharpness as they should.
The sharpness.
Yeah, as they should. They have the sharpness. They will absolutely kill anything they touch. So you have them. You have Grony Snark and Wingets and things just get in the way. I think it's just this is really, I think, man, really nasty Goblin list. I think because it doesn't just shoot you. I think it does like more than that. It fights you, it shoots you. It's going to beat you in every phase. It's got fast threats. It's got like so many things to worry about. So even though there's a lot of defense 6 here, and they can be scary, I think Steve I got to go with Steve here just because I think he's got so many tools and he's a very experienced player. I think I think Steve, he's missed the last couple of GTs I think that I've seen, but I know he gets enough. Yeah, I mean I think he gets enough UB games in that he'll be.
Oh, he's a UB fanatic.
Yeah, he's. I'm very scared of this list. I think this is probably the scariest list that I've seen in this tournament.
It is pretty nasty. Alan, what do you think?
It's great having the stealthy for Sylvan King because that's going to help suck up some of the shooting because there's a good amount of it. But Steve's got the lightning bolt too, and I just love goblins. It's just a lot to chew through. But he will if he gets first turn and just starts unloading on these goblins, they start to they go down. And if you could take out certain pieces, he has an Elven King. I mean, they're great for taking out war machines and if they could get around. But Steve's good at protecting. Steve's been playing has played goblins for years, so he knows what he's doing with this list, and it's not going to be easy to get to him. A lot of points in the tree herders, but normally they could stick around, and you also have the green lady to heal them. I think it's going to be a close match. I think it's good. I don't know Ryan too well. I think he might have been at ACO last year. But
yeah, Ryan was at the ACO last year playing. He was the third Empire of Dust player that I played out of. I played all of the Empire of Dust players.
All right.
Uh-huh. Okay. So he's been floating around different factions. So he just started getting into Sylvankin.
Okay.
But
he's doing it right.
He's decent. He's been playing since the last ACO.
It looks
so he's
good.
been playing for a solid year. He's getting up there.
I'm gonna go with the goblins on this one. That's gonna be my vote.
Yeah,
they'll find good targets to shoot at that are not stealthy if they really want to. And Steve has been playing this type of list for a while.
All right, Mark.
So, does Ryan's Sylvankin list hit harder than mine? Is that what we're looking at, basically?
You have the cav units, which are really nice.
Yeah.
Dude, but 3 tree herders.
And that's 1 unit strength, but things that are probably not going to die.
That's so hard. That's very hard.
One AC mage goes by and just starts casting on them, then
now just going off lists, the 3 tree herders is just going to be, especially with the avatar of the green lady, which I think has heal 6.
Yeah, it does.
That's going to be horrific.
And Radiance of Life, but so does the
tree and Radiance of Life, which both the tree herders have. That's going to be horrific for the shooting going out because the goblin list also, where it does have maul pop launchers, it does not have the stone throwers, which are the Pierce 3 that you want to see against tree herders, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to run up the board and hit something. Blade Stalkers kill things very quickly.
Yeah,
but he does have.
He could launch the pups though into regiments though, or into rabble, right? And then
that's correct.
Rabble actually get into combat.
They have maul pup cage.
Yeah. If they actually get into combat, those are going to be probably getting shot at to actually replenish units.
Yeah, if he gets them up there, 4 units of Glade Stalkers can do a lot of damage, though. The Mincer Mob, I think, if he keeps that away from the tree herders, he's just going to run around and punch things in the face. The one thing I will say that I would worry about if I were the Goblin player is the Elven King outside of the Mincer Mob and maybe the Goblin Slasher. He'll just rip anything else to pieces in combat just because they're all like defense 4 or less. And he hits on 2s with elite with 7 attacks. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So he can run into units and just start killing them, doing like 6 wounds apiece, which is pretty violent. But bringing player skill in, I do know Steve has been playing this for a long time, and I've played against him. He's very, very good at hiding things he does not want you to get to, from what I've seen. So I think it's a very, very close matchup, but I am going to go with Steve just based off his experience with goblins.
All right. That is a clean sweep for Steve. 2 tables left.
I love that you look down in the comments and you see Dale saying Ryan plays the bananas, right? And Gil just says, yes, Ryan is the banana man.
It's the banana man.
Good God.
That's Ryan's gonna give you the banana, Steve.
All right, table 14. This is another kind of marquee random matchup for the first round. This is Mike Ireland versus Alan Boehner. So it's going to be a Ratkin versus forces of the, that doesn't say nature, abyss. Sorry,
Nope,
I thought my eyes
it doesn't say. Yeah, you're not seeing it.
I'm not seeing things in my old age.
Nope, you're not seeing things.
So over on the Ratkin side, 13 drops and 23 unit strength, and 14 drops and 23 unit strength on the abyss side. So let's see. Mike Ireland's Ratkin list looks pretty standard for him. Some Shock Troop Horde, Spear Warriors Horde, some Hackpaws, some Vermintide, Tunnel Runners, Tangle, a couple of War Chiefs, a couple of Bruised Mothers, and Scud. I think that's pretty much what he usually takes.
I want to draw attention to something.
He doesn't have the war machines that he normally takes.
He doesn't. He has done a lot less shooting.
Yeah, this is a lot less shooting.
You're right.
A lot less
right.
shooting.
He has.
For mental
Last
reasons.
game we played, he had a lot of shooting.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Okay, so this is slightly different for him. We'll see how that works out. And then over on the Abyssal side, we got some Abyssal Ghouls, some Moloch Hordes, 4 Tortured Soul Regiments. Love Tortured Souls and Regiments. A couple of Croneuses, Seductress, Double Warlocks, and the Well of Souls. So you're going to be doing some keeping Molochs alive. Yeah, so let's keeping a lot of things alive. So let's start with Mark. What do you think, Mark?
Oh, God. So...
I love Dale.
Where'd Mike place in Pilgrimage when he played?
He
beat you, right, Alan?
That was the only game I lost. Yep. But he didn't place higher than me.
3rd, 4th, something like that.
I think he placed I got 2nd. I want to say he got 5th actually.
So he got down there. He got in the top 5, and I think he messaged me afterwards and said, "I should probably never use Scud again. I don't know if this faction's playable." He does that after every GT, just about. So, now we have this new iteration of his list where he's like, "Mark, my shooting doesn't seem to hit enough. What if I just take that out and I just put in a bunch of meat and I just sit there and win on scenario?" I was like, "You're not going to take almost any shooting?" And no, we're not. So
no, there's lightning bolts on Scud, right?
Here we are in hell. He's running a Hackpaw regiment because their metal is shit. And going with your forces, the Abyss list, I really, really like the idea of it. Tortured Souls are pretty fast. I love that they are fearless.
Yeah.
From personal experience of use and playing against, the Cronius ×2 with the Well of Souls can be a horrific, debilitating experience to fight against. I'd say the only thing about your list that is a little weird in that regard for the points you spent on those things is you don't really have many huge units. Like you have the ghouls, but they're only regiments, and the Molochs are hordes, but they're defense 4. Mm-hmm. And your Tortured Souls are only regiments as well.
Mm-hmm. That's
so
14.
A lot of people may, once you get towards combat, it's probably not shooting, but combats, they'll probably start taking those things out in one combat if they want to dedicate to them. But was your idea, I guess, the Well of Souls can take things off for shooting?
I hate playing against shooting, but I got so tired of seeing 6 forces of nature list and a lot of elves. I was going to do something different. Now, I have to say, this list is Jesse Garrett's list from the South. I was playing this list, and the only difference between our lists is I had Abyssal Cav. So this list is going to be mixed with my Northern Alliances, so the whole idea is hell freezes over.
Right.
So
okay.
I painted up a lot of new units. So I painted up the Tortured Souls.
No, I like that. That's cool.
I had to paint up the ghouls, but the theme is when hell freezes over. And I had a lot of these models, so I made a list, and I know I wanted to play well. I know I wanted to play the dual Warlocks with Drain Life and the dual Cronius. And
yeah, they are good. I am also a very big fan of Seductress with the knowledgeable Host Shadow Beast and Gnome Glass Shield. I think that's pretty rad because I believe Seductress comes with flying.
She does.
Yeah,
that's one idea that I took from him because I had just the Gnome Glass Shield. And I was like, wow, that's a lot better. I only had, I think, 3 regiments of Tortured Souls and 1 Ghoul regiment, and then the other one was the Cav. And I'm like, our lists are almost, they're so close. And I played his list. I'm like, his list is definitely better. So hats off to him. I have to give him credit for this. And I've been playing a couple games on UB. It's fun. It's fun for me. I love this whole engine.
I'm just looking at it. I mean, obviously, I'm looking at this through the lens of what I'm playing right now, which is 5 units of Glade Stalkers.
Yeah, I really don't want to play that list.
So right. So like that's my. So I have this weird new thing now. Whenever I look at stuff, I'm like, well, what would my first turn of shooting look like against this army?
Yeah.
And then I just look at the Well of Souls, and I'm like, well, it's probably not going to get much use on turn 1 or 2 for him.
Yeah. So I was really happy when I saw that Mike was not bringing as much shooting. I was like, oh yay, fun.
Yeah,
so
and
I
think
this might be a good game.
I think that's going to be it's going to be a really intense game because of his lack of shooting. Now Scud still does have his Lightning Bolt 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure if you really want to see all these Spear Warriors and Shock Troops with their Phalanx and Plague Pots.
I like big hordes that are not maneuverable. I mean, you really like.
Yeah, I mean the Molochs and the Cronius don't give a fuck.
I can just hold people. Unless like he's really good with his movement, but I could hold certain units where I want him. Like unless you could one shot him, I could probably just suck up, go to somewhere else, and just the Well of Souls in one game took 40 wounds.
Right.
Like I was like, yep, congratulations, but like they just keep coming off. So when you don't one shot things, it gets hard.
And that's what I imagine is like. I've played with Abyss and against them a few times where I'm like, all right, you have to kill this unit in one go and charge it with 3 units. You don't want to. But if that unit, you need a 5 twice and you fail, it's not going to have wounds on it next turn.
Yeah.
So deal with that reality.
I'll be like, okay, I'll take 12 wounds from that unit and put on the Well. And the Well just got in a flank and now just got 5 life leech. And the Warlocks just cast Drain Life. That's back. And then the Cronius with the Temptress ability, they get, and it's like, you just took 13 wounds and you're back to 0. Like, how did you do that?
That's his list as well. Like, if there was like 3 units of claw shots shooting at the Well of Souls for 5 turns, then it's a different story, right? Like, that's
took the shooting out.
That changes everything.
Took the shooting out.
I do struggle to think of how you can really outgrind this list, right? Because Shock Troops are awesome. They're great, but do they have enough hitting power to really kill everything here in one shot? And I don't know if they do. So
you're looking at 15 hits and maybe 12 wounds with the singular Shock Troop unit that happens to have the Brew of Strength. Though he does have the Tangle to Bane Chant the other one, so the Crush 2 against Molochs will be really good for that.
Oh yeah.
But outside of that, it will be very hard because outside of Scud, there's not tons of maneuverability with this list, and you have a lot of freedom of movement with yours.
Yeah.
So that's going to get hard.
Yeah.
All right, which way you going, Mark?
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know what? Fuck you, Mike. I'm going to go with Alan. How about that?
Alex,
I'm just going to break him further into madness.
So, I was as surprised as you were to see Forces of the Abyss as an army choice here. I think this is where Nerdhammer loses his touch. I'll say it right now. Come 1 year from now, Nerdhammer's going to look at the cup and wonder what happened and why their name was never on there again. I think this is the moment they're gonna come back to. Alan coming up with Force of Abyss, trying to get a little too cute with this army. I don't know. I think it's a good idea. It's cool. It's gonna do well. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I don't know. I think it's going to get overwhelmed. It's going to get outshot. It's going to get, outpowered. It's just, I don't know. These Abyssal lists, I really like the Abyssal list to have more shooting. I don't think they can punch their way out of a lot of these sort of scenarios. So,
as Tupac once said, I'm going to let my little homies ride on you. I don't even know why I'm on this track. I'm going to let my little homies ride on you.
I hope we meet on round 2 with the bottom table and we get to duke it out and see who really deserves that title.
Oh, no, Alex, that'll be you and me.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So I can hate myself.
Exactly.
So you go with Ireland then?
Yeah, I'm going Ireland. Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ireland has the reps with Ratkin. This will be my first match getting this army on the table. Mike's a great player.
He is.
I think he's probably going to catch me in this match because this is my first time dropping this army. I played it on UB. That's it. UB, you get perfect angles. You see everything. But his total experience, I'm going on player on this. If I was going by list, I think I'd go with mine. But since Mike has the reps with Ratkin, he's a Ratkin player through and through. I think he might catch me out on this one.
All right. And that is going to bring us to the final table. That's going to be Keith Baker versus, hey, look, it's me.
Look at this.
This is going to be Ogres versus, Forces of Nature.
Look at this guy. Do my eyes deceive me? We lose one, we gain another.
Lose one. That's how it works, man. You got one plant down, another one brings up out of the ground. That's how it works.
There's always someone to fill that spot in.
So this is me showing up way fucking late to this party.
How many units do you have painted for this army right now, Mike?
Just in time for the nerf.
Exactly. Just in time for them to get
just in time for the nerf.
I have one unit completely painted, and the second one is ready to be based. And I'm just going to borrow the rest of them or proxy shit. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yep,
anyway, on the Ogre side, I got 13 drops and 22 unit strength. And over on my side, I got 14 drops and 21 unit strength. So the Ogres, we're looking at some Hunters, a couple of Warrior Regiments, Triple Siege Breaker Horde, as you do, some Red Goblin Scouts, Red Goblin Bigot with the loot for some Bane Chanting, Triple Warlocks, Grokkagamok, and Nom Nom. Looky there. You don't often see both of them. And then my list is all elementals pretty much all the time. Double Fire Elemental Horde, double Earth Elemental Regiment, some Woodland Critters because I just think they're fucking hilarious. Some Greater Air Elementals, the Druid, the Gladewalker Druid kitted out the way you expect. Karis, because people really fucking hate that he can shoot things and disorder them. He never does it. He always misses when I roll, but he just draws so much hate. Like everything at the table is like, I gotta fucking get rid of Karis. He's gonna screw up it. So he just attracts shots from everywhere and dies.
That's fair.
But it's an 80-point arrow magnet. It's amazing. And then of course the Nature's Wrath formation. So let's go ahead and start at the top with Mark. What do you think?
Mike, I hate your fucking list.
Thank you.
It's a good list. But I'm just Force of Nature can suck it.
Yep.
So
I like the woodland critters.
Yeah, I mean the woodland critters are fun though. Hopefully you have cool models for those. We'll never know because they won't be painted by them. But eventually.
Well, I'm going to borrow Chuck's, and Chuck's woodland critters are literally woodland critters. Like he went and found like all of the animals that are in the South
Park. Like they're creatures stable to a base.
Yeah, and he taxidermied them and put it
right. They are actual creatures.
He 3D printed one of all of the little the South Park woodland critters. So there's a bear.
Oh,
that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I have played against Keith quite a few times and helped him piece this together. I will say the Ogre Warlocks ×3 with the one with Boomstick and the one with Conjure Staff mixed with Nomogorak for Lightning Bolt. I don't know, everything. 27, something like that. It's very, very hateful. And ever since he put in the Brew of Sharpness on one of his Siegebreaker units, that's been a tragedy to fight against. Because just you just forget he hits you and you're just like, I guess everyone's dead.
You just die on that.
The one thing I will say is he is new to using Grok. Grok is interesting because he can kill almost anything if he depending on how he rolls, but he's speed 6 with no red extension. And he's not an individual, so he can be a little bit difficult if you don't keep him as a backline fighter. And then there's always the hero of his list, the Red Goblin Bigot with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness, who will both never fail to cast Bane Chant ever, and will weirdly go and cause 2 wounds to anything he hits. So that's been weird. I love that you're using Fire Elemental Hordes. I think those things are rad. You have the Regiments of Earth Elementals, which I think is correct. And 1, 2, 3. You are using 3 Greater Air Elementals.
As one does.
As one does.
Do we have the Hammer Drunken Ram or Hammer and Strength Air Elemental Hordes? Yep, there they are.
Hammer Drunken Ram, yep.
Yep.
Now you do lose Pathfinder.
You do lose Pathfinder.
Right.
I think this could be a very, very close game just in terms of the fire elementals with the Crush 2 can start to chew through ogres. But I think you're going to have to get flanks against him with everything else. And that could be very, very difficult. So I'm going to go with Keith, my club mate, and hope for him that his first more experienced GT showing he gets in there.
All right. Well, we're starting on the bottom table, so I can only stay here from here. Alex.
Good God.
Yeah.
It'll be close,
Alex, what do you
I
think?
I think this is an interesting ogre list. I do like the sharpness on the siege breakers. That is a really scary unit.
It hurts.
But I don't see them connecting with anything that I just don't know like what they can. They just project enough threat to like really punch their way out of like this list. I think there's just too many angled threats for air elementals to get into them to really scare them. I mean, the scariest thing to me is the triple warlock and Nom. Like that's I don't think I've ever seen anyone run that. To be fair, like that's
really?
so much lightning bolt and drain life.
Oh shit! I told him, and when he asked, I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, everybody does that. It's like the thing. You build the list around that."
Yeah.
I just assumed when I read it, I was like, "They all have lightning bolt." What?
Usually, yeah. I mean, it said around like 2, and usually you're like 2 warlocks and Nom, or like maybe 3 warlocks. Like
that man lost his mind and did the 9x9.
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah. Just throw more shit in there, like it'll work out. I mean,
that list was gone before anybody got a chance to emulate it.
Yeah, exactly. It lasted like a few months. I mean, it did its thing. Yes. I mean, I don't know. I gotta go with Mike here. I mean, gotta go for club mate. I mean, that's what you voted for yours. I'll vote for mine the same way. But
yeah, it's going to be a brutal matchup.
List is very nasty. So
yep.
Unless Keith like sets up perfectly and plays perfectly, there's just too many traps for him to fall into. Which I think that's kind of what I see it going.
All right, Boehner.
Forces of Nature. I like this matchup. I played it a couple times, and it like you said, it's just too many angles to constantly worry about. And eventually, like when you finally commit, unless like you always have to think ahead, and unless you can protect your backfield and have something planted there, like you just can't make it easy. And how many games has Keith played? I know he was at Battle
quite a few.
Quite a few.
He was at the played against a lot of. He was at the pilgrimage, and he normally tries to get in like a game or two per week since then.
That's good. Does he play against a lot of like forces of nature? No, not too much.
Not tons.
That's like I think that's what like makes it so hard. It's like when you first step up against forces of nature, like you got to be thinking more on their turn, because if you just let them go behind your lines, it's game over. It's like, oh, no,
that's agreed.
And it's like one mistake. It's like you don't have to like. That's what like makes them so deadly. Like it's just one time. As soon as the greater air elemental's in your backfield, and if you have nothing back there to protect anything, they're just gonna go 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yeah, I worry for the greater air elementals in terms of like they can get behind something, and as soon as they're not in combat, like Namagorak and Warlocks can just turn and just like rip one of them off the table.
You know, like that's what you're gonna have to do. But I think forces of nature do very well against ogres.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I've played my Forces of Nature list against Chuck's ogres a lot, which are very similar. It's a lot of siege breakers and a lot of lightning bolt spam.
I just assume that's what people were doing with ogres at this point.
Yeah. No, it is.
It's not wrong.
And I usually do pretty well against it, so I think I got a pretty good chance there. But it's a lot of lightning bolt. He's gonna have to keep his flanks covered. You do make a good point of like, sure, if I like rear charge some siege breakers and kill them, then I'm going to get lit up with warlocks, which is why greater air elementals are going to have to kill the warlocks first and then be behind their lines, because that's what they'll be. Or Karis will just shut one of them down and
that's what you want is you want Karis to help with that. Yeah, the air elementals graders will probably need flanks into these warlocks to kill them though, right? In one turn.
Yeah,
for one turn. But this board state looks really good too for forces of nature. It's a lot of.
It does. No, I agree with that.
A lot of places.
That's another really good thing. Damn it! Why did I play forces of nature?
I don't know.
We're just gonna trade armies in tournament as good. Like,
you were tired of being a fucking sellout chud.
So that is all 15 tables. So that's going to bring us to the end. We're just going to do a few quick, fun wrap-up predictions here, and then close on out. So I'm going to ask you guys going around the table. Favorite list, not your own, obviously, but of the list we've seen. Which one is your favorite that stuck out in your mind for whatever reason? Doesn't have to have been good. It's not one of the things that necessarily think is going to win a whole bunch of stuff. Just you thought it was clever, you thought it was cool, you think it'll be fun to play or fun to watch. Whatever criteria you want to use. Mark, what's your favorite list?
Oh, it's easy. John Helbig, fucking unit strength 40 Kingdoms of Men.
Damn it, yep.
Hell yeah.
Like, what?
That's what I'm saying. Boehner, do I even have to ask?
No, that's it. Yeah. You already stole mine.
All right, Alex.
It's my answer for everything.
I'll say Steve Forster's list. I love that Goblin list. I think it's just like a really nasty, fun list, and I'd play in a heartbeat.
Right on. All right, now, who do we think is actually going to get the highest battle score here? Who do we think has got the best shot at taking home best general at Atlantic City Open? I will start with Alex.
Oof, tough one. I'm gonna go with. You know what? Come back to me. I need more time to think about this.
That's a hard hitting. That's a hard hitting question.
I wasn't ready for that, even though you're gonna ask that.
That's okay, Alan. What do you think?
It wasn't Max Kenny. I was playing Bart. Who was playing Bart? That Goblin list.
Warren.
Oh, no, Warren. Yeah.
That list, I love that list. Like, that's what I want to like. When I want to finally, I think, fully like go for it, I might just try to paint some goblins and go for that. But battle wise, I think I'm gonna go with Dale. I know what that list could do, and it hurts my soul, honestly.
All right, Mark. Who do you think is going to win best general, and why is it Derek?
Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely Derek. So I'm not going to jinx that shit. Derek is just a very hungry player. He doesn't give a shit. He fears nothing, and he's just a fucking animal, dude. And he'll talk so much shit before you even got to the table. I'm like, do you even know this person? He's like, no, I've never met him before in my life.
Yes.
And I'm just like, didn't you just tell that dude you were gonna land like a jet in his ass? He's like, yep. I wonder what his name is. So, yeah, I think he's going strong. I'm gonna vote for him. OP helps us retain the cup. It's gonna be awesome.
Voting for Derek for the repeat. All right, Alex, what do you think?
All right, so I was trying not to say like Steve Forster again because like that's who I probably think is going to do really well.
He's up there.
Yeah, I think he's up there, and then, again, I just love the list. I think he's doing really well with it. But
he's my dark horse.
Yeah, exactly. Can you get that as a dark horse? I don't know.
Did Steve ever win a GT?
No.
He won the GT in my heart.
What about Steve then? Fuck it, I'll Steve again. And you know what?
Hey, that's fine. I don't care. Great.
Maybe you should wear a I love Steve Forster shirt.
You got Mike.
Now, who do I have for best general? Fuck.
You're asking us. You got to ask yourself.
Right.
Look inward.
If you want to be able to do one of these things and not have to ask any questions, you just have to be the guy running it. Okay, that's how it works. You don't have to answer any. Who do I think is going to win? Fuck. I don't know.
Pick a name out of it.
You're playing all these GTs. I'm generally curious.
I am going to. I think Dale might be due. Mm-hmm. I felt like Dale was due at Vanguard. I felt like Dale was due at Vanguard.
Well, Dale did win the Dead of Winter.
But then, because he won Dead of Winter. Oh, that's right. He did win Dead of Winter. So maybe he's already had his one for the year.
Yeah.
I don't know then.
He's bust his balls. I told him he hasn't won an MA GT yet.
See,
exactly. Doesn't count, right? Yeah.
He might be able to win the whole town.
Try again, dude.
So let's move on to Dark Horse. So this is somebody that you expect to finish better than they normally do, or unexpected. So like clearly, like Derek would have been, a good Dark Horse pick for Vanguard, having come out and like won the fucking thing. But this isn't necessarily somebody's going to win, but somebody that moves up significantly or finishes higher, or that people don't see coming. Alan, do you have a Dark Horse?
I did. I picked Steve. I said, does he count as a dark horse? Because I feel like that's good. I don't. Yeah. Sure. This is time to shine.
Steve to podium. Sure. Alex.
My dark horse is gonna be Kyle Motley. I think he's the only Nerdhammer player. Still knows what he's doing here. So I think the rest of you guys are fucking washed up here.
Definitely washed up.
Yeah, trying new shit, trying cute shit. I mean, everyone else is like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but Kyle's tried and true. He's fucking sticking to the basics, what he knows. I think Kyle's dark horse for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, you got a dark horse pick?
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna keep with the history of the last ACO and my hopes and dreams at all times. My dark horse is always going to be Joe Ferry.
All right.
It's his time to shine and do some shit with these Trident realms.
That's fair. I think if I was going to throw out a dark horse pick, I think it'd be Warren.
Yeah,
that could be
There
that
we
could be
go.
violent.
That'd be a good one.
This is his first GT, right? He's probably going to finish in the top half of his first GT.
I think he might have played at Battle Pilgrimage.
Jesus.
Was he like the ringer at Battle Pilgrim?
I think he's a ringer.
I don't, dude. I don't fucking.
Did he
last
get
minute
last place
standard?
and get severely hurt? Like,
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean, I'm not
nasty,
really
Joe.
sure. But
Chris Fisher got last
that
place.
list is absolutely terrible.
I'm gonna stay away from the Goblins players for now.
I don't want to
And
play
just-
that.
Yeah.
For real. All right. And lastly, of course, and I know everybody's just going to vote for their own fucking club, but I got to ask anyway because I feel like it's a nice thing to end on. It sets a nice tone. Mark, who do you think is going to win the Cornwall Cup at the Atlantic City Open?
I'm gonna go with Dojo just because I want it to be that fucking sweet. I've noticed everybody else's names are on there twice, and we just got on there once.
Not everybody. Battle Pilgrims are not on there yet.
Are they a club? Yeah, they're a club. That's
They're
okay.
a club.
So
Oh,
yeah,
no. Oh no,
but,
more Battlefield.
yeah, just the hopes. I know the rest of y'all's clubs have been playing quite a few years longer, and I think between it's mostly Nerdhammer, Irregulars, and Aristocrats. I think that switch between it a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm just hoping that we can,
Tie it up.
a new challenger
Yeah.
has entered, and just kind of give you guys something that you can start fighting against every year. That's also a competitor. So
Yeah.
I'd like to get up there twice, like everybody else is.
All right. Alex.
Yeah.
There are technically 3 aristocrats this time. We do have a Merc,
Yes.
so there are 3 of us.
We have 3 out to vote for ourselves. Yeah, I think
Well, now
we
I need to know who
qualify.
the Merc is. I need all the information before I make my decision.
You're gonna find out the day of. You're just gonna have to.
No, I want my information now.
Alan, I thought you were just voting for Dojo running that fucking list that you're running.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I just vote not Nerdhammer. That's my vote. Is really you guys. I don't know what you guys are doing. I'll be honest. Like, I mean, if you win it, good on you. but,
Giving you a
like,
chance. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
I'll take
maybe.
Enjoy it
Yeah.
now.
I'll take everything I can fucking
Yeah,
get.
exactly. We'll
Just guess
take
what,
every
Dan.
when Crossroads comes, nope.
I just want to live.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Crossroads
3 GTs later, you're gonna be saying, "Yeah, I'm just giving you guys a chance," right? Like that's what I've been saying
fucking
for like
sandbagging
last
us.
5 years when I have lost every
Oh,
GT.
Alan, at Crossroads,
It's,
our
I'm
team
giving
is
people
going to
a chance.
change your fucking whole life.
You ain't changing anything, bud.
Exactly.
You
I mean,
specifically.
I gotta go aristocrats.
You don't even know what I'm playing.
We have a good. We're having a good chance. I think aristocrats will come in there.
Aristocrats.
right.
They're haunting.
Right. Yeah.
Alan, who do you think is going to take home the Cornwall Cup this time?
I'm going with Nerdhammer. I'm going with it. We might have new lists, but it's gonna be fun.
And it is just battle this time, right, Mike?
It is
I
just
think it's
battle.
just battle points,
Yep.
Okay.
which is the
Who's the
best
third
kind.
member of Aristocrats? I need to know though. I might vote for you, Alex.
There you
Never
go.
We don't get to know.
You'll find out.
See,
find
look
out,
at it. Since you only have 2 members, you're auto disqualified. So definitely not Aristocrat.
Is it Mike Gill? Is he coming in as the last player?
Someone's gonna do like the pull off the shirt reveal at the last minute, right?
Yeah, like when
Who knows? Who
Hulk
knows?
Hogan NWO.
Maybe someone's trading teams. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe-
I mean,
maybe
it
Nerdhammer
has
might
happened
do
before. Like Noah pulled that shit at Keystone several years ago, where
that. Yeah.
right before round 1, it's like, oh wait, we have a last minute first round challenge, and Noah was like, yeah, I'm challenging that guy, and they were like, wait, aren't you in the same club? And he was like, yes, I got to switch sides, and he took off the club shirt and had a different club shirt on underneath.
That fucking
awesome.
rules. That's amazing. That's fucking WWF shit right there.
It
That's
was.
what you want to see.
It
Might
was.
happen
Battle
again.
Pilgrims
We'll
have a
see.
team?
Yeah, but we'll
Does Battle
we'll
Pilgrim have 3?
Battle Pilgrims actually doesn't have anybody.
Oh,
Because
Oh.
Jordan Bolin did not enjoy the ACO experience last year because he's a mutant, so he's not going. Marcelo's got Father's Day, and Kat and Mike are going for the dojo.
oh, see, I didn't know that either.
Well, they started as dojo before.
Okay.
They've been dojo members for like 7 years.
Oh, nice.
He's been
Got it.
around for eternity.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's a lot of dojo.
So they're gonna, yeah,
Well,
actually, I
I'll
think
go
there's
with
a singular pairing that doesn't have a dojo member in it for this. Because I think there's like 15 of us or 16, something like
yeah,
that.
that's a lot. on this one.
Come to Atlantic City so you can play all the dojo guys.
It's all about
Exactly.
building up cultists. It's gonna be fun.
It is.
It's gonna be a good time though.
You guys have been doing the good work because the Mid Atlantic is actually the largest region for this past competitive season in terms.
We're trying to make sure that everybody, every GT people aren't worried about or making their numbers. We're trying to bring at least 5 people to like everything we can. So
That's good.
Yeah, I mean it helps out everybody, right? It's a fun time.
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
All right, and that is going to bring
us. That's awesome.
That is going to bring us to the end of our broadcast. That is 2 hours and 4 minutes. So fuck you, Bart. Hope your old ass was able to stay up long enough to watch to the end.
Your old fumbling ass.
I love you, and I will see you in Atlantic City, and we're gonna have some drinks together, buddy.
I hope so.
I'm super excited. This is next fucking weekend. I'm super excited to drive up to Atlantic City and check out the venue and check out the whole thing and see everybody and play against some new folks. We're gonna have a great time. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in and watching. We hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks so much to Mark and Alex and Alan for hanging out with me and talking shit about the lists. Looking forward to seeing all you guys next weekend too. Everybody, travel safely. Try not to breathe too deeply of the poisonous Canadian smoke that Ray is sending down here to curse us all.
Yep.
Curse of Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
The curse of Ray Shields.
That's awesome.
So yeah, everybody, we will see you next weekend in Atlantic City. So good night, everybody.
All right, y'all.
Adios.